This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where every week this brother-sister duo get together to discuss the box office, latest film and TV scoops, along with our latest movie or show review, and what we're getting into next. We are your hosts,
Cheryl
and Jay.
I was like, host, waiting for the name. Okay. Okay, so this week we watched David Fincher's The Killer. So that is what the trivia this week will be based. I did David Fincher trivia instead of Killer because there wasn't much. So
well, I'm not going to get this then. Okay.
I'll help you out. I'll give you a little boost. What music video that featured Jay-Z did David Fincher direct?
Music video that features Jay-Z?
It's an R&B song. And it won a Grammy. So Grammy R&B song featured Jay-Z. It's not Jay-Z's
Song Cry?
No, it's okay. No,
because I can't think of that many R&B
but
Jay-Z songs.
It features Jay-Z. It's not Jay-Z's song. He's like the feature on this song.
It's an R&B song that won a Grammy.
Yep.
And has a Jay-Z feature.
It won a Grammy.
It's got to be old because Jay-Z does not feature on R&B songs.
Okay, fair. I'm gonna dwindle it down just a little bit.
Is it a Mariah Carey song?
No, but the Grammy is for best music video. So it wasn't for the song, it was for the video.
R&B song.
Just take a wild
Deja Vu?
No, it was Suit and Tie.
David Fincher? That's a waste of money.
He has 3 Grammys for best video. Those are his only Grammys. Oh Father from Madonna was nominated, but it didn't win. So he only has 2 Grammys. He's been nominated for 3. All best video. Oh Father by Madonna was nominated, didn't win. Love is Strong by the Rolling Stones, which he did win. And his other one is Suit and Tie by Justin Timberlake and Jay-Z.
I don't even remember that video.
Really? You don't remember Suit and Tie?
I don't remember the video.
You know what? I'm thinking Suit and Tie. I mean, yeah, I'm hearing Suit and Tie, but I'm thinking of him and T.I.
My Love?
Yeah.
No.
So no, I don't remember Suit and Tie's video at all, actually.
No.
But it's a Grammy winning music
directed by
video.
David Fincher.
The David Fincher.
Wow. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I knew you weren't going to get it, but I was like, oh, this is an interesting tidbit for
That's
trivia.
an interesting fact because I didn't know David Fincher did music videos.
He's like Martin Scorsese doing Michael Jackson's Bad. It's interesting how they stick their toe in something else and they're like, you know what, I actually don't think I'm good at this. Let me go do something else.
Okay.
All right.
So let's get into the episode. Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so this week we have a pretty short agenda, but every time we say that our episode is like 3 hours long. So we'll see how we do. We did get a couple trailers, 3 trailers this week. So we'll talk about those. We have a update for I Am Legend 2, which some people might not even know was getting a sequel.
Right.
But yes, I Am Legend 2 is coming. And we have a first look at Agatha, Darkhold Diaries. When I put this in our template, I almost put the old name, which was Coven of Chaos. I actually had to look up. I was like, what are they calling the Agatha show now? But we got a first look at that, and then we're going to do a recap of the Beyonce Renaissance, a film by Beyonce review. Whoop, whoop. And then we'll get into our review for the week, which was for The Killer.
Okay. So first thing on the list, trailers, Book of Clarence.
This is the second trailer, right?
Yes.
Okay. This was the second trailer. It comes out next month, which is crazy because I feel like we just found out this was coming out a couple months ago.
I watched the trailer once and I don't recall too much of it because a lot of things were coming out at the same time. So
the first trailer.
You have to briefly walk me through this again.
The second trailer.
So
the second trailer shows more of who's playing. Oh gosh,
Lakeith?
Not Lakeith.
James McAvoy?
Yes,
okay.
It shows more of James McAvoy, and the plot seems like Lakeith's character has to find and capture Jesus to bring to James McAvoy.
Find and capture Jesus.
I think that is what, and James McAvoy is playing.
Pontius Pilate.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
I was like, I think he's playing a Roman. No, he's playing the Roman. So he's playing him.
It says Stanfield portrays Thomas, one of the 12 apostles, and Clarence's twin brother. So he
plays Clarence's twin brother.
So he's okay. So Lakeith Stanfield plays Clarence, the main character of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But in history, his character is supposed to be the twin brother of Thomas, who is one of the apostles.
Oh, okay. It's gonna be interesting.
So his character is fake, but he is also playing an actual character from the Bible.
Stanfield also portrays Thomas, so he's playing. Okay, he's playing the twins. I got it. Okay.
So maybe that's how they're trying to squeeze in the fact that he could have actually been around during this time because Thomas had a twin brother that nobody knew about.
I don't. The movie is obviously going to be a play of like mixing history and screenplay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it doesn't look like it's supposed to be taken. It actually seems less serious than what is Harder They Fall. I think Harder They Fall had a slight more serious tone with some comedic undertones, but this one seems more comedic than serious.
It seems better than the Transformers movie where Michael Bay retconned Bumblebee fighting Nazis.
We don't want that.
Fighting Nazis and killing Hitler. So
we don't want that.
It's a better version of revisionist history.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see because in Harder They Fall, he also used real people, but the screenplay was created original, but they still use real characters from history to play the people. So it looks good. I think it's going to cause a lot of chatter, controversy, discourse, think pieces, but it still looks good. I'm still on board with this.
Yeah, the other castings are interesting. There is Benedict Cumberbatch who plays Benjamin.
Okay.
Who I have no idea who that is.
A specific Benjamin or just a man named Benjamin?
A man named Benjamin.
Okay, we'll see. All right.
There is an actor named, I'm going to try to pronounce this, Babs Olusemokan. He is a Nigerian actor who is playing Jesus. So Jesus will be black.
I was going to say, well, not only that, in the first trailer, I don't think we knew if Jesus was going to be in this movie, but now it sounds... The trailer depicts somebody doing like...
I thought it was going to be Benedict Cumberbatch because he's the only person who has not shown up in any of the trailers or pictures.
Right.
So I'm like, they're saving Jesus for the end, and it's going to be Benedict Cumberbatch.
That would have been pretty funny.
It would have been funny, but I also find it funny, and I love the fact that they're making Jesus black for the film.
Yes, and I am also curious what Benny Cumberbatch's role is in this. Let's see. The actor who plays Jesus, he's been in Black Mirror, Max Payne 3, video game. He doesn't have a long film. He was Jameis in Dune, and I don't remember who that character was in Dune.
He did voice work for Max Payne 3.
Okay.
That was a video game.
Okay.
So
very interesting. But it comes out January 12th. Yes, January 12th in theaters. So this is not a streaming movie. I'm excited to see it. I think it's one of my anticipated for 2024.
I hope it's actually funny.
Did you like Harder They Fall?
I did.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I liked it more than average. So I have high hopes for this one. Okay. I have high expectations, I should say, for this one.
Okay. Next, Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. I'm very excited about this one. I did not know that it was going to have the subheader, a Mad Max saga.
So Furiosa, for those who don't know, is a prequel to the Mad Max
Fury Road, which was the last Mad Max movie that came out, which starred Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy. And
Charlize Theron's character is Furiosa. Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. She plays an older version of Furiosa.
No, I'm curious because so this movie, I'm assuming, is going to be how she came to be the character she was in the last Mad Max.
Yeah, because Charlize Theron's character in Fury Road, she was just a product of her environment. She says in the movie that she came from like a really beautiful place where there was a lot of green, and we kind of see that in this trailer. Okay. But she was abducted because they kept in this world they kept abducting women to continue the population. Right. And she was also abducted. I think they kind of like destroyed her home world. It seemed like because in Mad Max she tries to go back and it's not there anymore. Right. So she kind of just becomes like this agent who works.
She's more like a soldier, just
Yeah.
being here so she don't get fired.
Right.
But she's really good at it, apparently.
Yeah, she's really good at it.
Okay. This comes out May 24th, which will be a jam-packed weekend for movies. Garfield also comes out that weekend. The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes also comes out that weekend. So, and I was like, I wonder if one of them are going to budge. It don't sound like it.
No, I think they're pretty excited about having the same release date.
I think they're probably going to play it up. Which is interesting because I think somebody's going to be a casualty of that. And I don't know who. I think we both took a guess of who it would be. But trailer looks good, though.
Yeah.
It was highly anticipated. We haven't seen, we got a couple posters, I think, and the trailer. Chris Hemsworth looks like Thor, but he still looks good in the role.
Okay.
I even think he has a red cape like Thor in the movie trailer.
Yeah, he looks like Thor. Just
he looks like fat
his
Thor,
face is a little
but
off.
Slimmer. Yeah.
Yeah, his face is a little
I
different.
actually thought he was Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I think it's because he has brown hair, and we used to seeing him blonde and everything.
Yes.
And I think because he looks like Thor dyed his hair brown. Even his facial hair was brown.
He looks like fat Thor, but slim. Almost like he did at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sorry, Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But right, his hair is darker. But there's a scene in the trailer where he's like talking, and it looks like they just kidnapped Furiosa, maybe. And I was like, I had to go back. I was like, oh, that's Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
So he's doing some good character acting here, I think.
This movie stars Anya Taylor-Joy, who stars as Imperator Furiosa, Chris Hemsworth, who plays Warlord Dementus.
That's his name. Okay.
We also have some returning characters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's a younger version of Immortan Joe, who was the villain in Fury Road.
Oh, that's the guy who's got the hair, the super platinum blonde hair.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, so they're bringing him back.
So he's always had that mask on his face then, I guess?
Yeah, in the movies, everybody's kind of like just weird and deformed and mutated because of the wasteland that they live on.
Right.
So I think the face mask he has is an oxygen mask. It's just customized to look like a biker mask.
It's curious that he's had it all this time.
Yeah, I think it's some form of he's afflicted with something. He's
definitely
breathing
afflicted.
mask is required.
He looked afflicted in the last movie, so I believe it.
So apparently he's gonna be in this prequel, and he's gonna be playing the same character. Or Immortan Joe kind of pretty much runs the shanty town that they operate out of.
Right. Not you calling it shanty.
Yeah, it looks like a futuristic shanty. It looks awful.
It looks bad.
There is a fun fact. It says that the film was in advanced development with Anya Taylor-Joy confirmed to be playing the title role, and Chris Hemsworth and Yahya Abdul-Mateen cast to co-star.
Oh, wait, is he still in this?
He is not.
Oh,
Yahya Abdul-Mateen
second.
will not be in this movie, but he was originally set to co-star alongside Chris Hemsworth in this film.
I wonder what happened. That would have been nice.
It might have conflicted with something else like Aquaman or something.
No, he should have let Aquaman go.
Because it says that it started filming in October 2020.
Yeah.
That was like during COVID.
I'm trying to think. That's the only other thing he would have had out. I mean, he definitely could have worked with like Candyman and this at the same time.
Yeah.
Dang. That would have been sweet to see. Oh, well. We get him in Aquaman too, though.
But I'm excited. I really liked Fury Road. Fury Road was a great film. I wasn't even really interested in Mad Max films before I saw Fury Road.
I didn't see Fury Road until earlier this year, actually. Because you told me I had to watch it.
I wonder if this is going to continue. Like, are we going to go? Is it going to have a full circle moment where we get back to Tom Hardy? Because he also lived and he just left. We don't know where he went. But at the end of Fury Road, he kind of just, after he killed Immortan Joe and kind of liberated the people there and gave them all their water, he kind of just rode off into the sunset.
Interesting.
So
they could probably squeeze in maybe one in between if a story is there. Like, just don't be making sequels and prequels just because. But
and I'm excited to see Chris Hemsworth be a villain.
Yes.
And George Miller I know Chris Hemsworth had said in interviews that he was looking to do a little bit more serious roles and work with some more big name directors, and George Miller is one of those.
I'm about to
say, that's it. Yeah.
Did you know George Miller directed Happy Feet and Happy Feet 2?
Did you know George Miller produced Babe and Babe Pig in the City?
No. He's clearly got a diverse what do you want to call it? Taste.
Yes, he does.
In the type of movies he wants to do. Babe was good. I don't think I see Babe 2.
I don't think I've seen Pig
But
in the
Babe
City.
1 is it's a classic.
Yeah.
Sweet. So that'll be out. That'll probably kick out. Well, that first weekend of May is usually like the summer blockbuster kickoff, but it's definitely dead set in the summer blockbuster timeline.
Yeah. Next on the list, / trailer, Fallout.
Now you're going to have to explain this one a little more in depth because this
Sure.
is actually based off a video game.
Yeah, we are
definitely in the era.
We're not coming out of the comic book era. The comic book era is still going on.
It's
but
cooling off maybe a little bit.
We're now having a simultaneous era of video game adaptations.
Mario, Sonic.
I think Zelda's coming.
Zelda, Pokemon, Minecraft.
It's been a while since the last Pokemon movie. I'm surprised they haven't circled back around to that.
Give them time.
Yeah.
I just mentioned Minecraft.
We're going to get a Digimon movie next.
Oh, God. No, don't do that. I don't think Digimon would translate well to like live action. No, don't.
No, you're probably right.
And there's one more I'm missing. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy technically also counts. That is a video game.
We could do a good Final Fantasy movie.
You would think.
But maybe they just need to stay in the video games.
Mortal Kombat, that counts.
Mortal Kombat counts.
They finally kind of almost got it right with the last one.
Oh, there was no Mortal Kombat.
You're right. Maybe they'll get it right with the second one.
Okay, Fallout. Fallout is a video game. It has been around since the dawn of time. Just kidding. I'm going to get the actual date.
Fallout video game.
First Fallout came out in 1997.
Is that old?
And was released on...
There's a lot of these games. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. This is like Metal Gear Solid levels of other ones.
Yeah. So Fallout first came out in 1997 and was released on Windows, Mac, and DOS.
Okay. This is the OG video game right here.
And it has had a bunch of video games. I want to say over 10. There are 7 mainline titles though.
Okay.
The rest of them are like spin-offs and stuff like that. Like,
I see.
If you see like Fallout New Vegas or Fallout Pinball or whatever.
Fallout Pinball. That's cute.
But anyway, the most recent one came out, that was Fallout 76. That came out in 2018. The premise of Fallout is basically there was a great war in year 2077. So it takes place in the future.
Naturally.
There's a war between the U.S. and China, a nuclear war. They both decided to bomb each other to oblivion, and it ruined Earth.
Okay.
So because of that, there was an organization, Vault-Tec.
Okay.
There's an organization in this world, in this fictitious world called Vault-Tec, which has set up all of these different vaults across the world for people to take shelter in to wait out the nuclear fallout after all the nukes drop. And basically, they're in there for each game is about the discovery of a new vault and opening it, and
how you keep
a new
going.
character, and that's how you keep it going. The last one was
Smart.
Fallout 76, where they find out that there was a 76th vault of people. And a lot of these vaults are people who have just been released in the world because the corporation set this plan in place, but then the world ended. So there was nobody to run that corporation. So these people kind of just...
No backup plan to the backup plan?
These people just sat into these vaults until either the timer expired and it let them out, or they were discovered by people who were like, hey, we didn't know that there was this vault here. We've been out here living. Yeah.
We lost the paperwork.
Each game is about the character, this new character coming out of the vault into this awful world and rediscovering what civilization has turned into, which is basically, it's nuclear fallout. So all the animals and insects that survived have been mutated.
I was gonna say, in the trailer it showed a very large roach.
Yeah, a lot of the bugs have been
size
mutated.
Of a dog.
There was a trailer. There was a scene in the trailer of like this bear that had all these sores on it that was eating somebody.
Guy had no nose.
Yeah, there are people who had their flesh like completely melted off of their skin because they've been exposed to the radiation for so long. They're not exactly zombies. They're just regular people.
I mean, they was moving around pretty cool.
So that's what the premise of the games are. And in the games, there's no countries anymore. There's not like US and China or whatever. It's either all called the Wasteland, or they call it the Commonwealth because it's everybody.
Okay.
And it's very territorial. There are these different factions and different groups who have different ideals about
trying to
how
think
they
of what
should
this
rebuild the world and
another
who
movie
should
this
run it.
sounds like. It almost sounds like Planet of the Apes, but with people after a bombing.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It almost sounds like Planet of the Apes a little bit of it. The world you can kind of imagine would be like the Maze Runner world.
Okay.
Like after they get out of the maze and they realize that the whole world's been burned and there's just
Zombies.
like sections of, there's the corporations and then there's like the rebellious people who live in like.
So it's a little bit of Hunger Games with a little bit of Maze Runner with a little bit of Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
With humans and bombings.
The funny thing about Fallout is it's a role-playing game.
Yes.
Kind of just like Mass Effect
or Final Fantasy
or Final Fantasy. You get to in Fallout the story changes depending on your choices.
I like
and
those.
You get to choose.
Kind of like those games.
You get to choose out of all these factions who you want to join with, and your missions change
based on
the ending changes.
Oh.
And sometimes the story revolves around the fact that you happen to be in a vault that had like you were in a special vault.
Okay.
Come to find out. Or I think in Fallout 76, it was you were in a vault that also had like the backup nukes just in case the war was over and the vaults opened and they were still beefing. They said, cool, we're just going to nuke it again.
Okay.
So I think that was you had
ultimate backup
you had
plan.
to decide what happened to the backup nukes. Did you use them or did you not use them?
That's a good way to keep a game going though. I didn't realize it had been around so long.
So as far as the TV show, I just had that up. Here we go. Okay. So as far as the TV series, it says that the show depicts the aftermath of a nuclear war and the alternate history of a 1950s-esque retrofuturistic world. So remember like the Matrix? Anachronisms where like the Matrix took place in present day, but they had like old tech that's kind of the same in Fallout.
Okay.
So the world, I think Fallout 76 took place in like 2100 something.
Okay.
But the world still had 1950s aesthetic. So
because they've been down there so long.
Yeah. So we saw in the trailer, you saw like diners and record players and all this old school
stuff. It looks like it's got a Western filter on it. Yeah. For sure.
And I'm sure they'll probably explain that in the movie as this tech. It's probably like only the analog technology still works after the nukes.
Because analog technology are like roaches. You can't get rid of it.
Right. So this is the only thing that'll still work after all the servers go down. Right. So I think that's how they're explaining that. The budget looks crazy.
It looks like Amazon, because this is an Amazon series, if we didn't mention that. It looks like they took that Prime money and put it into the production. For sure.
Todd Howard, who is he is the CEO of Bethesda.
Is that the name of the company who makes Fallout?
Who makes the Fallout games.
Okay. Said
that the show is going to be set in the same continuity as the video games.
Okay.
And the video games follow the same continuity. Every game is a couple years later in a different vault. So this can exist in the same timeline, but not have to be tethered to the rest of the games.
Are they going to make more games after this, I wonder?
Yeah, it is. Fallout is the thing that makes Bethesda money, just like the MCU is the thing that makes Disney money.
Okay.
So they're going to keep doing Fallout, even though the games have been diminishing returns.
A little middling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Each time they come out, but they still sell like
somebody buying it.
Yeah.
Somebody must be buying it if they still make it.
Amazon has the money and they're clearly not afraid to lose any money. Listen, whether something's good or
Rings
bad.
of Power. What are y'all doing with that?
Did you have any thoughts on the trailer when you saw it?
It looks different from anything else that's out right now as far as like TV series. I would watch it. I would at least tune in to see. The production looks really good. Yeah,
based on the trailer itself and the way that a lot of it is very accurate, like the guys in the mech suits, the guy with the no nose.
Yeah.
A lot of the characters, the costuming, it's very accurate. It looks like it's ripped out of the game. So I would, based on the trailer, I would put this next to like The Last of Us as far as like video game adaptations.
I forgot that one on the list. The Last of Us.
It looks very Last of Us accurate.
Okay.
As far as production,
I hope it does, or I can't say hope or not hope because I'm not super familiar with it, but hopefully for fans, it does better than What video game did they just do? Another one for Amazon with Anthony Mackie that just seemed to have come and went.
Oh, that was for Paramount. That was Twisted Metal.
Oh, that was Paramount. That wasn't.
And that's also post-apocalyptic,
Yeah.
and it kind of follows in the same vein, minus the vaults, but it still has like the wasteland and the factions and stuff like that, and corporations. But Twisted Metal was not a very popular franchise.
Oh,
like Twisted
they
Metal,
picked the wrong one.
The last big Twisted Metal that people like really remember was on PlayStation 1.
Ew.
And there hasn't been another Twisted Metal
one?
since then. Yeah, exactly.
PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
There hasn't been a good Twisted Metal since
So they
then.
probably just picked a bad one.
I think they picked a bad one.
Video game adaptations are coming hot and heavy.
They are.
If they're good.
And plentiful.
Why not? So yeah,
we still have the Metal Gear Solid supposed to be coming out at some point movie.
Yep.
So.
There's another one as we were talking that popped in my head, but I forgot. But it's the next wave.
Yeah.
But if they're good, hey, I'm all for it.
Right.
More, please.
This is set to come out April 12th, 2024.
Yep. And they don't say if it's like a limited series or if it could get multiple. I'm assuming they're gonna wait until this one.
I think they'll probably do this weekly.
Well, I'm saying I wonder if it's like just limited and it's just one series, kind of like the Twisted Metal seems to be, or if it's going to be multiple. They'll probably wait and see how it does, kind of how they probably did with the boys. Like, let's see how this go, or Invincible.
If done right, I can see it going on. They have enough material there. There's so many games they can pull from.
I didn't realize it was so many.
So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Next bit of news we have is I Am Legend 2. So if you didn't know that there was a sequel, congratulations. Now you know. You are caught up with I Am Legend news. This was the first time that I think it was speculated that they were coming out with one.
The only people who had said that I Am Legend 2 was coming out were just scoopers.
Okay.
But nobody from the studio and neither of the rumored actors had spoken about it.
So the rumored actor, Will Smith himself, officially said it's coming. Looks like the script is done. It will also star Michael B. Jordan. Now, if you're wondering why Will Smith is in this movie, you're like, didn't he die at the end of the last one? They're scrapping that. They are scrapping how the original movie, because the movie's based off a book, they're scrapping how the original movie ended and are going with the alternate ending that was on the DVD of I Am Legend. So Will Smith in this new sequel will be alive. I don't know how they're going to explain that, or how people are. I think most people wanted it to end how the alternate ending was, so it'll probably be fine. But I wonder if that's probably like a first, where they did a sequel and they were like, yeah, remember that ending from the last one? Ignore that. Go watch the alternate ending and then pick it back up.
I can't think of a specific example where they do the exact same thing as this, but it's kind of no different than when they went back and rebooted Halloween and just said ignore all those other sequels because we're only focusing on the ending from the first one. I mean, it's not one for one the exact same type of thing, but nowadays I feel like it's much easier to just be like, forget everything you know when you make these movies nowadays.
I guess since it's been long enough since I Am Legend's been out, and it seems like most people would have preferred the alternate ending that they shot anyway, that's available on the DVD that people have seen, it'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
It'll probably be okay. So Will Smith said, I have a call with Michael B. Jordan tomorrow. The script just came in. We're going with the DVD version where my character lived. So there's I don't know if there's a director attached. I don't know who wrote the script. I am kind of curious who wrote the script though.
There's no details about that.
But it's coming. The first one was directed by Francis Lawrence, who, if that sounds familiar, that's the same guy who did Hunger Games.
He's also going to be doing the Metropolis film with Adam Driver.
I thought that was a Martin Scorsese movie.
No, that's Francis Lawrence. Francis Lawrence, I believe, also did Planet of the Apes.
Probably. Sounds right. He also used to do music videos.
He did Hunger Games. He did do that. He did Red Sparrow, Constantine, I Am Legend.
I love me some Constantine now. It's like one of my favorite movies.
No, I guess he didn't do Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
I'm thinking of a different Francis, I guess.
Okay. I thought he did music videos too. Now I'm like, hold on.
Yeah, he did a couple Britney Spears, Lady Gaga music videos.
Same guy.
And Pink. And Jennifer Lopez.
Ray J.
Wow, what's all these? And
Monica,
Backstreet Boys. And the Black Eyed Peas.
In Vogue.
Destiny's Child.
112 featuring Mace.
Francis Lawrence shot the Independent Woman video.
Jay-Z. Girl's Best Friend video.
Shakira.
It's funny. I know him more from
Cry Me a River?
I know him more from the music video space than I do in the director space. Because he used to do, as you just read off, He used to do all the music videos. I was like, oh, Francis Lawrence.
He did Alanis Morissette.
He's done a lot. It sounds like he's back into the film space and he's left. Looks like his last music video, big one, was Run the World by Beyonce. And then he's got a couple more from artists I don't recognize. But yeah, I know him from doing music videos more than film.
It's Megalopolis that I was thinking of.
Oh.
And that's with Francis Ford Coppola, not Francis Lawrence.
Wrong, Francis.
But
we were close, though.
Sidebar.
What?
This cast list has gotten a lot bigger since the last time
Isn't
I
this
looked
like
at
a
it.
really expensive movie, too?
Yeah, it's supposed to be one. Well, when it came out, it was one of the most expensive films ever made. And this is a remake.
Oh.
So it's trying to, it kind of like Cleopatra.
Yeah.
Where it has to live up to that expectation.
Uh-huh.
But this cast list, this is a complete sidebar.
Yeah, it is. Keep going, though.
Adam Driver, Forrest Whitaker, Natalie Emmanuel, John Voight, Lawrence Fishburne, Aubrey Plaza, Jason Schwartzman, Shia LaBeouf.
This is either Shia LaBeouf. They putting Shia LaBeouf back in movies.
This might be updated at some point.
Okay, because they haven't started filming. I don't think of any of this.
No,
right?
Dustin Hoffman and Giancarlo Esposito are all.
It's either going to be really good or it's going to be like that one movie Babylon or something that came out that had all them people and it just kind of came and went.
Francis Ford Coppola. We're gonna have to add this to the time codes, but Francis Ford Coppola started writing Megalopolis in 1980 as a passion project.
Oh, I did. Okay.
And was originally in talks with Rob Lowe to star in the project. That's how old it was.
I was gonna say, what's the thing? Rob Lowe doing Atkins commercials now.
He had been writing this before he directed Bram Stoker's Dracula in '92.
Okay.
So
maybe this movie won't actually
really
come
good.
out. I don't know. This budget sound like it might be too big. But anywho,
yeah.
Back to the other Francis. I Am Legend 2 is coming. We don't have any more details, but of course we'll keep our ears to the ground and give you guys the updates.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Okay, next on the list, Agatha, Darkhold Diaries first look. So earlier this week or last week.
I think it was earlier this week.
It was earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
There were some very shoddy screen recordings of what looked like somebody recorded over the shoulder of somebody who was trying to edit on a computer the scenes of
sneaky. It looked real sneaky.
Leaking the scenes for Agatha Harkness.
Right.
The teaser featurette that's supposed to go on the Steelbook of WandaVision.
Which is officially out this week. So it sounded like somebody got an early, or it seemed like somebody got an early copy or opened up a copy of the WandaVision Steelbook, because now they put WandaVision on, you can buy it now, the series, a physical copy of the series, and it has the Agatha featurette on it, and it looks like somebody was like, oh, you watching that new Agatha from the DVD? Let me get that from you.
Right.
And recorded it on their iPhone. So
the premise of the show, it takes place immediately after the events of WandaVision. So far, that's where we know it's placed so far. Now they could say later on this takes place after, like,
they have been mum on details, like what the actual plot is. They've changed the title multiple times. So yeah, so far it's safe to say.
So it's supposed to take place after WandaVision. We know that much so far, where Wanda left Agatha trapped in Westview. Yep. Under a spell where she thought she was still just a nosy neighbor. And the premise takes place where Agatha Harkness finds herself powerless after breaking out of her containment in Westview. And she looks to some unlikely allies to join her on her quest to regain her former powers. This makes sense because at the end of WandaVision, Wanda takes her powers from her.
Essentially.
Yeah, and does leave her powerless. So she is a witch with no powers. And it seems like she's just going to pull her old coven members back together.
Rallying the troops a little bit, it seems like. Yeah.
To help her get her abilities back.
And there's 7 of them?
There's a bunch of people. So there is Kathryn Hahn, who plays Agatha Harkness. She's returning. There is Aubrey Plaza, who plays Rio Vidal, who is a green witch in Marvel.
Okay.
She is a witch who uses earth-based magic.
All right.
Think like nature and plants and stuff. Joe Locke, who will be playing Billy Kaplan. If you are a comic book reader, you will recognize that name because that is
Wanda's
son, the witch.
Now,
the one that has the magical powers.
Billy Who's the other kid?
There's Wiccan and Speed, which is Billy and Tommy. Billy
Now,
is
how do you
Wiccan.
have Billy and not have Tommy in this show?
So in the comics, she made the kids up
Right.
out of nothing. And then when at the end of the comic run, when the spell was undone,
Both of the kids went away.
back and went out to be nothing again.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently their souls in the comics went to the bodies of other kids, and they lived completely different lives where they didn't know each other.
Oh.
They were still soul related, but they did not. They grew up in
Interesting.
different bodies with different families.
How they gonna
And then
play
they
this
find
out?
each other later
And put the pieces together.
that find out that they're brothers, and then they go find Wanda, who has been missing in the comics. She was in the comics. I think she faked her death, and they had to go look for her. It was called the Children's Crusade.
This sounds like something that could actually happen. Go ahead.
It was the comic book run was called the Children's Crusade, and it was centered around Billy and Tommy get together with the other Young Avengers to look for Wanda.
This, you saying that, I'm like, okay, Wanda faked her death. Okay, she died at the end of Multiverse of Madness. Billy and Tommy being separated and them having to go find Wanda.
Yeah.
Okay, I see how this could go. I'm making theories up in my head. But...
I mean, the path is right there.
Oh, okay.
So Billy, what's very interesting is that he is listed as, he plays a familiar.
What is that?
Now I know and this is just stuff I know from like watching magic and vampire shows and stuff like that. Familiars are like creatures.
Okay.
Who are magical, but they don't like have magic. It's weird. It's kind of like an Obscurial, but not a bad Obscurial, like in Fantastic Beasts, where like the what's his name? Who was the Obscurial character?
Oh, you talking about Ezra Miller's?
Yeah,
character?
Who was his character?
Credence.
Yes. So Credence was like, what would you consider a bad familiar? Where he's a magical being, but he can't like use his magic.
So he ready to turn up.
Right. And it's only destructive. Familiars are kind of like the opposite, where they're like magical beings, but they're not evil. They assist other people who can use magic in using their magic. So I don't know
how they're gonna play this. I'm curious to how this character is even going to become to be in this series.
Because in the comic, he becomes so powerful that he becomes the new Sorcerer Supreme later on when Doctor Strange like retires or dies, depending. They really be putting
everybody everywhere in comics.
So I
would have never guessed that.
I'm assuming he's gonna level up in this because he's like, him and Wanda are like head to head in the comics. So
interesting.
Obviously, they're gonna try to level him up.
There's no way they introduce one of her kids in like the flesh, and she's not like lurking somewhere in the shadows. But anyway,
now some scooper has said that Billy is going to be playing a character where after Westview deteriorated and him and Tommy's souls went away, his soul went into the body of a kid who died. Oh, that's what some scoopers are saying. So like the kid died. Billy took over his body, and now that kind of explains how he's like already a fully grown teenager.
He's trying to figure out where
he comes from, I guess. And that would explain why he's fully grown up. That would explain that. That would solve the aging up problem.
Right, because he was a tween.
Right, because they needed they need to be teenagers at this point. So that's interesting.
That is very interesting.
Patti LuPone plays Lilia Calderu, who is a 450-year-old Sicilian witch and member of Harkness's coven who has skills in divination.
All right.
And
she's the one that's been leaking all the tea.
Yes, she's the one who's been leaking all the tea.
They got a cast member with loose lips.
Sashir Zamata Moore, who is from Saturday Night Live. Oh. And she's a stand-up comedian. She's going to be playing a sorceress. That's all it says. But she's not a witch. So it's good to
They're
know.
Making a difference.
Doctor Strange is a sorcerer.
Listen, they bringing it all together,
and
y'all.
There's sorcerers and there's witches. Now in the MCU, it seems like witches are all considered bad because that's how they kind of reacted in Multiverse of Madness.
There's definitely a distinction for sure.
It seems like witchcraft is supposed to be like
forbidden.
Yeah.
But you can be a sorcerer because that's more legal.
The other two characters are Ali An, who plays a witch. That's all she's listed as. And Deborah Jo Rupp will be returning from WandaVision.
Who is Deborah
She was the one who was asking Wanda to make it stop in the first episode.
Oh, she had a husband too, right? Older couple? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see it now. Yep.
Yeah.
I liked her though.
She's rumored to reprise her role because I think it still takes place in Westview.
Yeah, it looks like it does. Mm-hmm.
So the featurette we saw, it was basically Jack Schaefer, who's the director, behind the scenes talking about coming up with the idea to make the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing different scenes of Agatha in her comic accurate outfit, which is
everybody was quite hype about that.
And a long skirt and blazer, black with the...
She looked ripped from the comics for sure.
She did, with a little brooch. The only thing she didn't look like in the comics was, in the comics, she's a very, very old lady.
Yes.
But they made her much younger. And they kind of mimic the same in the books now. Now she's the same age as Scarlet Witch in the comics because she used magic to reverse her age or whatever.
Of course she did. Why not?
And we get a scene of them walking through what I think is the Witch's Road.
That's what everybody thinks. You would not be alone in that.
And basically what the Witch's Road is, think of the spirit realm in Black Panther. Set in a forest,
like the astral plane.
Yeah, so like the astral plane in Black Panther is like set in the Serengeti. The Witch's Road is the astral plane that's set in the forest. Okay, and basically what the Witch's Road is,
Yellowstone.
It's a road. It's a magical road in a different dimension that witches have to walk to find whatever they're looking for.
Oh, so it is very much like the ancestral plane. I'm sorry.
There was a run in the Witch's Road can lead to any place. It can lead to, and it's kind of like the Darkhold in a way, where the Darkhold, if you read the Darkhold, it tells you whatever you're looking for and it tells you how to get there. The Witch's Road isn't evil.
I was about to say Darkhold got some.
The Witch's Road isn't evil
connotations to it,
but it's there just to guide you to whatever you're looking for as a witch. It seems like in the show she's looking for her powers, to regain her powers. So maybe she will find how to get her powers back through walking the Witch's Road.
Now, I wonder if the show is going to be her journey to going back to being OG Agatha, or if there's going to be like a villain protagonist type plot.
I don't know, because what I did find interesting is that they're not touching on the fact that when you read the Darkhold, it takes something from you.
We saw that.
It makes you evil. And we know that she had the Darkhold prior to Wanda, and she had been using it to try to steal Wanda's powers.
But she failed. So maybe the Darkhold was like, I'm done with you. You failed.
Is this an indication that you can be restored mentally after reading the Darkhold? Because we know Doctor Strange read it, and now he's got a permanent third eye.
Right.
And he just read it once. And it seemed like she had the Darkhold for a minute.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to even bother try to explain that, though.
I mean, that's a big thing. You can't just be like, oh, okay, she read the Darkhold and now
it was going to be called Wait a minute.
It was going to be called Darkhold Diaries.
Yeah. I was going to say, it is Darkhold Diaries now.
So
that is the subtitle. So it has to come back.
Maybe we're going to find out that Agatha was not evil. It was the Darkhold. It seems like they're going to try to make her she's likable already, but it seems like they're going to try to make her like a even more likable character. So maybe they're going to be like, oh, that was Agatha under the influence of the Darkhold. This Agatha is different. I am
pro Catherine Hahn. So yes, let's make her. Let's
redeem her. In the comics, she was never evil either.
Oh, you know what? People had some complaints about that, I think, in WandaVision. I was like, Agatha was never like a bad person.
She was the person. So when Scarlet Witch was in the Avengers, she didn't know she was a witch. She thought she was Jean Grey. So it was Agatha that was the one to tell her, like, no, you've actually just been doing magic all this time.
And it kind of happened like that in WandaVision.
Yeah. And Agatha told her, like, I'm gonna be the one.
Girl, I know you.
Agatha was the one who taught her how to use her powers and actually become a witch. So maybe they're gonna circle back, do some course correction.
Yeah, and now that this series has changed subtitle so many times that it is now Darkhold Diaries. So Darkhold has to come back up.
Or maybe she'll be the one to teach Billy how to be a witch.
Billy has to find his way somehow.
Yeah. So maybe she'll be mentoring Billy since she.
But can she mentor Billy if she also doesn't have powers?
Maybe a witch can teach you how to be a witch even if they don't have their own powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
That could be doable.
They're keeping it close to the chest.
I think she's gonna get her powers back. It seems like they're planning to expand the witch side of things.
I was gonna say, if she does, then like I wonder what the long game is. I guess is my thing. Like, what's the long game for Agatha?
Bringing Scarlet Witch back into the fold?
Yeah, yes.
Maybe she has to find Scarlet Witch again to get her powers back.
I like the original storyline of the kids trying to go find her.
Yeah, I like the storyline of the kids trying to go find her too.
But maybe it's more of Agatha teaches Billy and Billy goes to find what's his name again?
But Agatha
Tommy.
was also involved in the Kids Crusade. That's how they found out who their mom was. Because Agatha was like, I was the one who mentored her. I know who she is. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I like it. It's smart. It's rumored to be coming out this Halloween. Smart.
Yeah.
Let's not do another fumble of releasing a Halloween witch theme show in the summer.
Right.
With Haunted Mansion. I shouldn't say show, movie. But yeah, I don't think that's confirmed. It's rumored, but that would be like perfect timing. I don't know why they would pick another month.
Okay, so that is all the news we have for the week. We are going to take a quick break and we're going to get into one of two reviews for this week.
Sweet. All right, so first time ever on Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, we have our first guest. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, how you came to be on this podcast today, and what we're here to talk about.
I mean, I feel incredibly honored to be here, I have to say.
Thank you.
You're a big deal.
Our first ever podcast guest.
It's quite exciting, but my name is Jeremie, and I'm like, I would say favorite cousin.
Okay, yeah.
/ maybe sister-ish, which is a little interesting, but it makes sense for our family.
It does.
Yeah, all around good girlfriend.
Ace Boon Coon.
All of
Road
these things.
Dog,
home girl.
Down for whatever.
Like, yes, I'm that.
Yes,
to your wonderful guests or to your wonderful hosts. That is me. Yeah, so I'm excited to be here. This is great. So exciting that I get to talk about the Queen.
We are talking about Queen Bee today on this is like our special segment of our podcast. We've never done this before where we've done 2 whole movies, I think, in one episode. So today we're talking about Renaissance, a film by Beyonce that came out December 1st, 2023. It is directed by Beyonce. It is starring Beyonce. I think she wrote like the screenplay. She did the visuals. She did the set design, production.
Listen, mother did everything.
She's basically in every category that you can put on a movie. Just put Beyonce in there because she did it. Runtime, 2 hours and 48 minutes, which was literally the whole concert. Minus like a few little things that was missing, but we can talk about that later. We don't know the budget. Doesn't matter because this is a great film. Box office, 11.5 million opening day domestically, and it's projected to do 20 to 24 million domestically. It's also internationally. It's playing internationally as well. So we'll see what she does over the pond and whatnot once the weekend is up. Cinema score, dun, 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 A+. That's literally the highest you can get.
I mean, what else are you giving Beyonce?
I don't know what other people would have gave, but anything
what are we doing?
Lower than A+ would have been weird to me, I feel like. Critic score on Rotten Tomatoes is 100%. Audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is 100%.
Yes.
So like 10, 10s, 10s across the board.
10, 10, 10.
In all the rating spaces. So yeah. Do we want to discuss plot or let's we just jump into the facts?
I love this plot. You all are so official.
Yeah.
I have no plot. The whole thing was giving everything.
So basically it's a documentary, but it's more like it's Beachella but up a notch in my opinion. So it's the concert mixed with a little behind the scenes, how she came to put it together, all her ideas and stuff. But I feel like we got more concert this time than we did for like a Beachella.
I agree, especially when like opening, we were like, wait a minute, are we getting a full song? It's a whole
She doesn't
song.
cut any song that she puts in the film at all. I don't think
she did. She was giving full songs.
Yes. So we went twice. We went to 2 different shows. We went to Detroit and we went to Houston. So we got to see the Queen twice in person. And I want to say that both had a little bit of different energy, but she filmed in multiple places. So, but if you didn't get to see her at all, this film is for you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You get to see all the costume changes, all of the looks, all of everything, all the energy at different locations. It was great. This is what you need.
She starts with her opening. Actually, her opening was Houston, I believe. Yes, I had to go through my phone and had the pictures. So my pictures are from the film.
I mean, we're kind of famous.
So we were actually in the film, technically. Technically, we're in the film. So she has a couple scenes where she pulled maybe people's TikToks. She pulled like a video, some people's TikToks. And there was a girl that busted up the mute challenge the second night of Houston.
Oh, she was awful.
If you ever hear this, you know who you are. And everybody in the section looked at her And we were like in the back of that person. And if you would have freeze framed that shot in the film, you would have saw our heads.
You would have saw our heads.
So you're listening to two people who were in the
we were there.
Beyonce
I was in a film.
I mean, our names are in the credits because they all Beyonce, but
we were in the actual film.
Putting it on my resume.
I'm honestly feeling like I'm famous. I'm really excited about it.
we got the popcorn tins, even though I told myself I wasn't going to do it.
Did you?
Well, because I got the Marvel's tin popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
Now, why you need 2 popcorn buckets? I don't know.
True story.
But it was there.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a line.
It was not a line.
It was only $15.
I mean, because it's well spent.
I love popcorn.
At me as well. And I love Beyonce.
I can put chips in it.
It could be like a whole snack container.
Nuts, like
all types of
cashews.
things. Chex Mix.
There we go. Trail mix.
Mm-hmm.
We'll reuse it. We'll reuse the buckets for something. I might rotate. Every time I go to the movies, I might rotate what bucket I take.
Well, I only have one, and every time I go, it will always be
the Renaissance
with the Queen.
bucket. Yeah, so you can get you a bucket. There was a cup.
But
I don't need more cups. I really don't need more cups.
We could go back tomorrow and get a cup.
I don't need it. Could take it to psycho class. Can you imagine? Go to psycho class with our Renaissance cup? That would be pretty.
Let's get back to the film.
All right, circling back, sidetrack. So there's merch available if you go see the movie. We also got a mini poster, so you get a little freebie. You got a little free mini poster. Yeah. What was your favorite? Do we want to do what was your favorite besides Beyonce? I'll change it up. Who was your favorite person or favorite person that she added into the film? Because we get a little bit of Blue, we get a little bit of Mama Tina, we get a little bit of the kids outside of Blue, of course. Rumi and Sir in there.
I got her dad
was in there. She did have some other people like her dancers.
They had moments. The dancers had moments.
So who did she highlight that you liked the most?
I will say a couple. Like the whole dance kind of breakdown was really good. I love how they were talking about how great they felt being there, how important it was for them to be there, their rehearsal, like all of that, because it shows how much work. I mean, we know Beyonce.
She's a beast.
Ma'am works.
This just elevated her beastness.
Right? And it also showed me like what I'm not doing enough.
Frankly.
I
feel like she was like,
I'm doing nothing.
Okay.
Comparative. What am I doing?
Step
you're right.
Far.
Okay. So the dancers, I loved that.
My favorite part of the dancers was the one dancer she hired whose wig fell off apparently during her audition.
Yes.
She was like hired her on the spot.
It doesn't even. Yeah, she was great. Yeah, I like that. And that also was a really good point that you make because I think that person like apparently didn't have a whole lot of experience in general, but that also just shows right like she has a whole range of
who she gonna pick.
Exactly.
Expertise. What she
different
looking
talent
for.
Level. Yes, exactly. So I loved that. That was great.
I did like
and then
that.
Other top tier favorite for me had to be the entire Blue segment.
I was gonna say that was my favorite.
Okay, so I can't say that.
We can have the same. We can have the same.
I feel like it makes sense for us to have the same favorite.
Yeah. I mean, we did go twice.
We did, right. The whole Blue segment breakdown, like the entire thing from start to finish was well done.
There was interesting that when we saw it, because some people online were saying, because on Twitter, people were saying how a little line came out, how people saw that Blue found out about the criticism online. And people were like, well, she shouldn't have been, she's too young to be on social media. She shouldn't have saw that. But in the movie, you find out, spoiler alert. Can you spoil this?
Can you spoil this?
We're not. We're just going to roll with it. Okay. Blue's friend is the one who was on social media and told her about the criticism. So I was like, it's interesting how Beyonce makes a whole film and y'all criticizing before even seeing the film about what's in the film. It just proves her point of how she like, I'm at a level to where it don't matter what y'all say.
It doesn't matter at all. So one on that, why are we even criticizing?
Yes, it was a big thing.
Her in the first place. Like that's just the one, her parenting, all of that. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
So that's weird.
Right.
Then also the whole criticism of the baby anyway.
Both.
From the very beginning to
sides.
Where she would even have to, why are y'all upset that she saw the criticism? Why were grown people criticizing a baby to begin with? And honey, she saw that criticism and broke it down and was like, you know what? I'm going to show y'all. And little sis tore it up.
She was
actually, she can't be little sis, maybe niece.
Okay, that's fair.
Niece.
Would Rumi be little sister?
I think they both would be niece.
Okay, because she's highlighted in this too, very much so.
Yes, she is actually, and she was
cute.
tearing up parts too.
She had her own little like copying Beyonce when she was doing like her hands up.
Yes, I love that.
Super cute.
That was good.
Blue's segment was definitely my favorite part because it just showed behind the scenes of it was only supposed to be one show, which I thought was interesting because she ended up being on at least all the major cities.
Oh, she definitely was.
I think there might have been a couple once they came over to United States that she didn't do. Yeah. But she was like 1-0. I'm here. She obviously told her mama that you're not just gonna let me do one show. Like she told her she wasn't cutting out Diva. And Diva ended up being on the playlist.
Because let me tell you something about Blue. Right? I have always thought she always gave like boss energy as a baby. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, if you're real stans, like you see Blue in little bitty things here and there, like over the years.
And in her tour concert at the end, she do little clips. Yeah. I saw a little Blue.
Absolutely. And she always gives boss energy.
She her mama's daughter.
Okay.
She's her mama's daughter.
Good for little Blue.
Let's see, I love that. It was so good. That I like a lot. The very beginning when we get our first behind the scenes look and she talks about all the people that are behind the scenes and like the lights and how much steel that was used and the fact that the concert was in the making for 4 years,
which is crazy.
Which I wonder if she always planned it to come out now, like if she planned the tour to always be when it was, considering that COVID happened.
Oh, that's a good point.
I'm wondering if it was supposed to be maybe, I don't know, 2020.
Maybe sooner, because she was in the she showed like a book of all of the iterations of the potential stage and what she wanted to look like. And it was a really thick book, so you could tell that it was going over time. She was trying to figure it out exactly.
Binder of ideas.
100%. Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. But also she talked about, remember when she mentioned the stage itself, right? So, you know, those of you who have gone to the show, you'll see like this massive, I mean, her screens are big, but this one was huge screen. But she showed how many panels that have to be put together hand by hand, and they have multiple of those. Like, did you say like 3? And so 2 are in like the next couple of
2 were on
locations.
The way to the next spot when 1 was actually where it was supposed to be for the concert.
Because it's too big to tear down and build back up in the same time.
Crazy.
Insane.
Budget. This tour had budget.
So much budget.
But that was pretty cool to see. If anything, I would have added more about like that part, like the stage, how they built the stage, how she came up with the outfits. I would have liked to see.
That would have been very interesting. I was hoping that she'd have something about the outfits, because she changed, and you could tell it was intentional. Like she changed so much, all the Ivy Park stuff that, you know, because Ivy Park was having like a little moment prior, right? Where people were like, oh, you know, it's going out.
And there were 2 releases, right?
2 releases, yep.
During the tour.
And so she wore those, that, and then she kind of moved into other things post that, which I thought was really interesting. That would have been good to have a little bit more.
So those are things we would have added more about how she came up with the set design, and then more about the all the outfits that she wore. I'm gonna need her to put the outfits in some sort of lookbook,
please,
museum,
so I can purchase.
I think Tina said there's some looks that never made the stage.
Right. You just like prompted like one thought while you're talking about these outfits. So 2 things. 1, the transitions between the outfits.
I was looking forward to that
in different locations.
I was purposely looking forward to that.
Let me tell you, nobody does a transition like Queen. Like no one does
song
it.
And
song and
editing film.
Okay? Because how?
It's so good.
Oh,
so good.
So good. So that's 1. And then 2, the one show where like I think sound went out or something. I
think that was Phoenix.
Was it Phoenix when the sound went out? She decided, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make it to where you guys don't remember that the sound went out. I'm gonna switch up outfits. And how many minutes was it? Like 2 or 3? 3 minutes. And she put on an entire different outfit.
Said we got 3 minutes.
Let's do it. Let me tell you.
And I feel like the second outfit was more bomb than the first outfit.
It was. Yes.
Intervention. Divine intervention.
You know what? That was God.
Like you wasn't supposed to wear that. Bloop. Put this on instead. That's what happened.
You know what? God will do that. He will just come in and like switch it around. You know what? And Beyonce being
roll
too,
with the
so
punches.
she knew. She knew.
You gotta roll with the punches.
God, I love her so much.
It was. I really hope that It was the whole concert pretty much. Only thing she left out was when she did like Love on Top.
Oh, yeah.
And there's 2 other songs she does in that segment, but they're more like the ballads.
Right.
That's the only thing she left out. So I liked it was pretty much you could just relive or see the whole concert if you hadn't.
Right.
And she needs to make this available on some DVD. Digital.
Don't think it's gonna be streaming.
Don't do us like Formation, Beyonce, please.
No, please don't do that. I need to have it in my hand.
Physical. I need a physical Blu-ray digital code steelbook.
Oh,
yeah,
that would be good.
They do steelbooks for movies and stuff.
Where are we gonna play this said Blu-ray?
We got PlayStations. We got gaming systems.
Oh, gaming systems.
They work.
True.
We just don't be thinking of using
them. So we
them
don't
for
want
that.
this on streaming, is what we're saying.
I mean, you can put it there to start. But there needs to be a steelbook option.
I like this steelbook option. Yes.
For sure.
Okay.
Other people in this that weren't in it as much, but you see some flickers of Jay-Z's kind of in the background.
Always.
You see he's kind of like behind the scenes chit-chatting. And he's on the front of the camera too. But
he claps at her a lot, like when she's getting ready.
He is her hype man.
On the side. I mean, he better be.
You right. But you could see it. Like he be as excited as she is.
He does.
Which I do
like
love.
right in her face clapping. Like
he was in her face at the end while she's eating a turkey sandwich. She's like, I'm actually trying to eat a turkey sandwich.
Like, goodness gracious. So I like that. I like seeing their relationship because she loves him, child. So that's good. Of course, it's her husband. Yes.
We get some glimpses. We got a very, very, very brief glimpse of Destiny's Child.
Mm-hmm. She talked about that was a good segment. We got a good glimpse of a small, short glimpse, of like, them.
Don't blink.
Right, but she talked about them though, so I thought that was beautiful.
She did,
like all of the members though, right? So not just Kelly and Michelle. It was Latavia and Latoya.
Yes.
They was all together.
They were all in a brief moment. I think that was also, it was either her birthday show. I think they were at.
Was it birthday show or Houston? It was Houston.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
Mm-hmm. We also have another cousin.
Oh, we do.
It's like a family podcast right now.
Y'all.
But we only got 2 mics. So we're gonna pass it to get Jay. And Zanna's also here.
Zanna's
we're gonna put her name on the podcast as well. If she wanna say something, we'll add. We'll kind of pass the mic around. But we beginner podcasters, so we only got 2 mics right now. But there's others in the room. This is a professional. We all went together.
This whole studio is giving professional.
It was. It is. We even have a mascot.
I mean, I love this
around here.
So yes, Destiny's Child, all of them, and they showed them hug. It was lovely, even though the moment was very quick. The segment where she talked about being at home and being around them, not having which I never knew. All 5 of them, she did use the word healing because all 5 of them have never been together in the same space together.
I guess why would
Which is wild, really though.
But I mean, they were 2 separate groups. Technically
2 separate, they were. Yeah.
But you typically don't get 2 iterations of the same group together. Like, especially now that they're making music.
Oh my goodness, here's a thought.
What? No, it's not no album coming.
No album, but like all 5 of them doing like one song.
Christmas song? Oh. That's a lot of people on one song.
I mean, but a little bit iconic.
It would be great.
I think it'll be iconic.
I don't know if it's happening though.
No, I mean, please, this is not. She's giving us too much already. We're not getting that. But that was beautiful. I do, and she, to your point, she did use the word healing, which I thought was lovely. Just her being at home in general, I thought that whole segment was very beautiful.
They had a nice house growing up. House was bomb.
They sure did.
It was given not mansion, but sizable.
I mean, they were upper middle class for sure.
Bedrooms.
Okay,
everybody had a bathroom.
They had like a dining section, an entertaining section.
Did you see the front yard?
And childhood
and the backyard, technically. So
very large.
She from Third Ward, but they was living
nice.
Good part of Third Ward. Where
exactly.
It was like,
Yes, I like how she showed
like and whatnot.
Houston legends in that scene.
She did.
Bun B.
She did. That was nice.
She showed the hydraulics on the car, the candy paint, baby.
The
all of
editing
it
was very good.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure she did.
Of course she did. First of all,
everything.
She does everything.
Beyonce, it'd be like die-line. You do Beyonce.
I love the die-line reference.
I mean, when you do top 5, you just that's what it comes to mind.
So good.
So the editing was very good.
Yes.
I like the fact that it was literally the whole concert with some documentary mixed in.
We were dancing and
we
singing.
We were singing. Our theater wasn't packed, which made it better for us to be able to sing it because we was in there talking it up.
We were talking, singing, like snapping, the whole thing. But yeah, we didn't have like a lot of, we weren't, inhibiting people's experience.
Exactly. I mean, if we were, we didn't know. So.
Oh, we also got special guests from the concerts as well.
Did. Oh, we did. We got Meg and we got Kendrick.
Let's have a moment for the Stallion.
Well, we got to see Meg in person.
That's why I wanted to have a moment.
I got that on my phone. So I knew it had to be in the film. There was no way she couldn't be in the film.
Every time
she looked really good
she's
too.
So good. Like, I love her. I mean, I love her. Like, deep rooted love. But then every time it's true. And then like seeing her in person jump up and down like we would do if we saw Beyonce.
She was very
excited. Then in the film it's like they played that whole thing because it was funny, but like, we feel you, girl. It's Beyonce right there.
Right.
She was so excited. Very close.
Reach.
Like,
and they was kikiing backstage.
Had to be.
So
and then her little twerk breakdown. Yikes.
She looked really good.
Oh,
she looked really good. And I'm glad they added the Kendrick part because they also had issue with sound.
Oh.
But somehow they must have fixed that.
Yeah, because it didn't.
I think his first part of his verse, the audience couldn't hear because something was going on with the mic.
I think it was the speakers.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
speakers.
They still have his recording from the microphone.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Which is good.
Smart. Of course they did that. That's yes.
Yeah.
Thought that. Like that's yes.
So the special guests were good. I like that addition. I mean, there was no way you couldn't have that in there.
Although Kendrick, like, he seemed excited to be there, but he was giving very much so Kendrick energy. Like, once it was over, like, he got back in the little thing and went all the way down. He didn't say bye. He didn't like do any deuces. No hello everyone. Goodbye everyone.
He was
while Megan's out there like, woo, I love you, Beyonce. Hey y'all.
Kendrick was like, I've been here before. We've performed already. I'm just here for the vibes.
And then vibed himself on out.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. I'm gonna hand the mic over to Jay to let him add some commentary since we're both. So we're gonna switch out. So here's some scuffling. We're just switching seats.
So favorite parts or favorite cameos?
Do both.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say my favorite part of the film was her going over the logistics, especially the part, like you said, the screens. I thought it was very interesting that she said that while they're setting up a screen for the night, they're also setting up the other screens at 2 other locations.
Wild. Because
it takes so long to do it. I thought it was crazy that the panels were basically extremely thick TVs that they just stack on top of each other. Oh, no, that's right.
Yeah, they were they looked like TVs.
They looked like very heavy TVs.
Yes.
They were very large. I didn't expect them to be whole full panels. I thought they just airlifted sometimes they put like stages on like big pickup trucks or big semis and they drive it around. I thought that's what it was. I thought that was good. I really liked the part where she went through the flip book and showed all the different like concept art from the stages that they were brainstorming before they finally came up with the stage that they actually made. I will say the stage is probably the best stage setup she's ever had in her career.
Oh, Formation was good.
But like the digital, you know what it reminded me of? You remember that Michael Jackson movie that came out a long time ago where he was like the metallic statue guy?
Oh, yeah.
That's what the visuals reminded me
of. No, you're
and
right.
I was like, oh, okay. The way she uses the screen, that was like the best type of setup she's ever had. To me, the way she uses like the visuals on the screen.
Yeah, I agree.
And I like the fact that she talked about how she constantly had to, because she's a Black woman and people talk to Black women differently, she constantly had to kind of like argue about about her expectations for the show. And it was kind of funny. They showed where she was talking to the guy about I think it was like a 30-foot track that she needed, conveyor track, and they're like, oh, we don't make conveyor tracks that long. And she was like, I literally just looked it up and
they
do. So you're BSing me. I like that part. And
which, by the way, under what circumstance do you tell Beyonce no or you BS her? Like, she's not new to this.
I think that just highlights the audacity a lot of people have.
The actual audacity.
And the fact that they think that they can talk to her and do business
like,
with
are
her
you kidding?
Like she's like a regular customer. I mean, yes, she's human, but she's like a legendary superstar. Like,
yeah, exactly.
This is somebody that you bend over backwards, especially when you know she's coming with the money.
Right.
So this is somebody you bend over backwards to get things done for. I thought it was funny that she had to do like a back and forth with the people who worked at the venues to get like things done.
Right.
I thought it was funny when she opened with, I don't think she opened with Flaws and All. She opened with Dangerously in Love. I think Flaws and All was right after Dangerously in Love.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny when she got to the part of, I'm host of Imperfection. Yeah. That was one of my notes where she was like, I'm host of Imperfection. And then she like pointed at her arm, her perfect arms, her perfect neck, and her perfect stomach. And I was like,
like, are you?
What are you?
Honey.
I was like, that's funny, Beyonce. You're funny.
It gave me a little chuckle. It's so silly. Silly Beyonce.
Favorite cameo would probably be Blue Ivy. It was surreal of listening to them talk about how Blue Ivy built herself up to be a performer. And I was like, this is literally how they described Beyonce when she became a performer. She had to deal with all types of like criticism, even though she like didn't do anything wrong. But Blue Ivy had all these expectations on her. And I thought it was very interesting that Beyonce was like, yeah, they basically expect so much of her and put so much weight on her literally just because she's our kid. And she feels like a responsibility for that. And I thought it was very interesting when she talked about how her first instinct when Blue Ivy was like, I want to do what you do. And she was like, no. She immediately was like, no, you're not ready to do that. And I thought it was very interesting that she was like, the reason I don't think you're ready to do that is because you just don't have the struggle that I did. The struggle that I went through is why I was able to do this. Yeah. And she was like, you have not lived that life. And that's why I don't think you're ready to do this. Even though Beyonce did the exact same thing, younger, I would say, than Blue Ivy. I thought it was interesting that as a parent, she was able to recognize like, I did this and yet my life turned out great, but that's not something to aspire to do immediately out of the gate as a child. You should be a child. Yeah. And my second favorite part of the movie would be the fact that we probably wouldn't have got Diva on the tour if Blue Ivy hadn't spoke up and said, don't cut Diva.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No. Was she doing homework? What was she doing? She was writing in the book.
She
was very quiet.
Were all taking notes.
She was doing something. And well, actually, she might have been taking notes because I stand by the fact that she is executive producer of something or another, Blue Ivy.
Yeah, she basically is.
Minding her business, taking notes. Somebody said it was Beyonce.
And I like the fact that she was part of the planning process. Like when they were talking about setting up, I think they were talking about the set for America Has a Problem, and Beyonce was obsessing over the fingers being set up correctly. Oh, yes. And Blue Ivy was like, we're wasting a lot of time.
You're wasting a lot of time. You need to rest.
And I thought that was very interesting. It's like she's part of the creative process because she's got her notepad, she's got a pencil. Exactly. She's listening to the ideas and the plan, and she's interjecting and putting in her own ideas. And it was very nice seeing that when Beyonce is on set doing all of this business stuff, working with people who are her coworkers, she has like Blue Ivy is like her on-set advocate that's checking in with her like, it's time to take a break. Right. It's time to take a nap.
Which I also love that as like a daughter and being so young. I mean, she's only 11 to have like this foresight or the understanding to say, you're tired. This is a lot going on. Like, go lay down somewhere, girl.
I like that.
It's beautiful.
I like the fact that she obviously knows her mother's entire music catalog.
Oh, yes.
Because she knows what songs need to be included in the sets and what can be cut or shortened. Right. And I like the fact that it was very funny that Rumi was already imitating Beyonce's performances and her songs and her lyrics. And it's like, okay, but you would think other kids listen to other people's music. Like you hear about actors and musicians talk about, oh yeah, my kids listen to like all these other type of people or watch all these other type of movies.
They don't watch my stuff.
But it's like when your mom is Beyonce, what other music?
What else are we listening to?
You know, like that's the best. When you want to, if you want to listen to like R&B or pop or anything and your mom's Beyonce, you would play her tracks.
You listen to Beyonce.
Of course, her kids, I don't even know how old Rumi and Sir are. But
I feel like they
of
have
course
to
her
be
kids
at least 5.
know like her onstage mannerisms and her lyrics already, like at a young age. And the fact that I think Rumi thinks Alabama is in Texas.
No, she definitely does because no, they are. It's mixed. It's one place, like right? It's one location.
Her geography comes from the Renaissance album. Like that's her point of reference.
Where are you, Rumi? Where are you? Texas, Bama.
Yeah. I love that. So those are my favorite parts.
I love all of those things. Yeah, those were like. Yeah, all those were good. I loved every bit of that. Yeah, the Rumi one, I forgot about that. Was very cute. The asking where you are.
She was like, where did you say you were? She was like, Texas, Bama. It's like she made up a state. This is your mama's fault. It's literally your mother's fault for saying
made up a whole state. Oh, it was just so good. One other thing that I thought was pretty wild. And it was a little bit like emotional. I don't know why it was emotional for me, but the part where she talked about her knee surgery. And so seeing her like through this process, getting the surgery, like having to get fluids 1 month before, having to do physical therapy like so quick because physical therapy takes a while. I mean, you don't just do it after a couple of weeks.
It sounded like she was like tuning her voice and in physical therapy at the same time. Like had a little squeezy ball and humming away. And I'm like, girl, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
I want to add to that. So I think the reason it was so impactful was because we found out about her knee surgery online.
That's
a long time ago, when it was nobody's business.
You're right.
And there was so much like speculation and dragging her through the mud. And it was before the concert. So there were already people talking like, oh, this concert's not going to be as good because she can't dance because she's got actually, everybody thought it was that's how nosy everybody was. Everybody thought it was her foot because she was limping. They assumed it was her foot. No,
you're right. I remember that.
Knee. And I think when the movie finally touched on the knee surgery part, it was like, oh, when everybody was online having all these discussions about you and your ability to perform, it was like, oh, everybody kind of forgot that you were human and you were working through an injury.
Exactly.
And you were clearly like unsure if you were ever going to be able to perform the same way again.
Right.
And then when later on in the film, she says she had to realize that her real instrument she had to remind herself her real instrument was her voice, and it wasn't how much she moved around on stage that made her a great performer. She already had her tools. And I thought that was interesting because everybody had not everybody, but there was a certain section of people who had a critique about this concert specifically because she doesn't dance as hard or as much as her previous tours. And it's like, yeah, but you forgot that she doesn't have to do that.
Right. And then every once in a while, she will remind you, like, hey, the mic is on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mic is
like,
on.
I will dance. I will go hard. I will give you face. I'll do all of these things. But your faves will not ever.
Can't even put a tour like
this
together.
Give voice like Beyonce. The mic is always on. Okay.
Yeah,
every single time. Me too. She was like, the mic is on. Just so, hey, I'm standing here, but I'm singing.
What I loved about the film was even though we've seen this tour twice in person, the film got to let us see her like super close up. Girl's gorgeous.
Absolutely
she
beautiful.
Looks so good. And my favorite outfit has to be the brown Ivy Park monogram.
Oh, the body the custom one.
So against her skin tone, and I loved it.
It was really good. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like the Texas. I mean, it might be the country in me. Like the hat, the cowboy hat, like the fire with the boots.
Probably second. For
like
me.
it was a little nasty for me. I was like, ooh.
My video
cosplay. It was really good.
Yeah. It was the brown. I'm partial.
You're partial to the brown.
I'm partial to the brown.
It was so many good costumes, so many good changes.
All her outfits.
They were very, very good.
The fact that she added that extra element this tour, like I'm gonna have a different opening outfit every night, and then I'm gonna have multiple outfits for different songs and just interchange them, so you don't know what you're gonna get.
No, they were also good.
I love that. You bringing up the Flames outfit that's probably my second favorite, only because it's connected to when she did the Drunken Love Dubai run,
which is let me tell y'all something about y'all host, okay? The way she loves.
I live for that version.
This version.
And it's literally only like the last minute of the song. Like the rest of the song is the same. But when she gets to that run.
What did I say? It's like a spiritual experience. Like I just be like, do you Do you hear her?
So good. It sounds so
like, God, is that
good.
you? Like,
it's the fact that I have like multiple tweets bookmarked that have that version. I have it on my phone when she did it in concert. Every now and then I just hit play. Like,
so good.
Sounds so good.
And she had bronchitis like several times.
She did. She said she kept getting sinus infections.
At the multiple times.
Multiple sinus infections, talking about the pyrotechnics and the smoke. And she could have cut all of that out. Like, this is impacting my health. So I'm just going to tone down the theatrics and give y'all, it wouldn't have been as theatrical of a show, but she was like, I'm going to do it because she kept saying in the film, like, I'm grateful for y'all coming. Y'all done paid y'all money to be here. I don't take that for granted. Like, I want to give what y'all done paid for. So I'm gonna keep getting bronchitis and sinus infections so y'all can have this experience.
So y'all can have this. And the experience was perfect every time. This is why when people be like, you be spending so much on Beyonce, you get this. I sure do. Everything she drops, I will buy. Anything she wants to give me, I will take.
I have
all of the things.
Popcorn buckets.
Oh, right?
Okay. And can't eat that much popcorn a day.
Because it's always worth it. She has never given something that hadn't been worth every single penny
I have
spend
to
on it.
Use willpower to be like, am I gonna buy?
Am I gonna do it? Of course we are. Of course we're buying. Yes, we're buying.
It's never not enough.
Fantastic.
So
loved it all.
Any other final thoughts, things we want to say? Anybody want to add anything? Outside of the stage and how the outfits came to be, I'm trying to think of what else would I've liked to have seen more of. I don't know. It's the fact that we were able to relive the whole concert was just great. Like, it was literally.
I don't know if there's anything that I wanted to see more of. What you got?
I feel like there were a lot of more guests on her birthday show. Like, I feel like
she did not show all the guests on her birthday show. Just move. You can just move the mic
so you can hear it because we're
we
a family affair. We're a family affair tonight.
Yes, I on the note of what we would have liked to see more of. We definitely got a good behind the scenes of Houston. That was good. We could tell that was like her favorite. But I'm like, this lady worked on her birthday.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
Which I would never do. I wouldn't. But here I am. I'm not Beyonce, so who knows?
Right. Right.
But yeah, I feel like that show was very much highlighted in the social media world. All the celebrities were trying to be there. We got a glimpse of Diana Ross singing Happy Birthday.
I love that.
Which brought me to tears. That was the part that got me. I was like, oh.
That was probably my second most emotional
and I was
part.
like, oh gosh.
She was really backstage, like,
yes.
And she she was about to be in tears on stage.
I cried. Yeah. So, but yeah, I feel like that was the clip. That was it.
Yeah.
I don't know that we got more of that.
I also like that she touched on the fact that Tina Turner died during the tour and how that affected her. Because she talked about how the whole journey of the Renaissance album was like closing a chapter and then rebirth, and in the transition she lost one of her heroes, and I thought that was very interesting how she touched on that.
That made me emotional too. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And then we didn't talk about Uncle Johnny. So yeah, I actually would have wanted a little bit more
of Uncle Johnny.
I think they did good. It was a full segment. I feel
I
like they
how
had Mama Tina talk about.
I like how they
him.
edited it in, because I didn't know that part was going to be in there, but they did it right before Heated, where she does that.
Right.
Because for the rest of the film, she kind of does multiple songs back to back. And I probably need to see the film again before. I'm probably gonna see it anyway. But I think they did one song, then they cut to talking about Uncle Johnny, and then they do Heated. They don't just like run right into it.
Right. And I like this. I thought the segment was really good. They talked about Mama Tina got to talk about him. She was very emotional.
Yeah, she was
talking about him and kind of their time together and how he started sewing, which I thought was very interesting through her mom. Her mom taught him how to sew. And also, just sidebar, I don't mean to get deep here, but
do it.
Taught him how to sew as a form of protection for him, which, because the world sucks. We all know it. And people, for whatever reason, feel like you have to police people being themselves, which, I can't even deal. But knowing, and so it brought back like kind of like, I'll have the quintessential like black mom, black grandma, black whatever, or just like a staple in your household, and to have that like, I'm going to teach you how to do this because I know this will have people love you and respect you and protect you. Yeah. I just was like, oh my God, that was beautiful to me.
That was a very good segment. I like when Tina was saying how like every time the show ends and Beyonce puts the picture of them too, and she was like, I get emotional every time. And I was like, oh, because I don't know if she did that every show she put that up or not. I can't remember.
At the end. I know it was at both of ours though.
It was, I mean, like Jay said, the stage is so big, so the picture is so like big, and I think we've seen that picture before, but just to see it and to know that Tina's kind of like, oh, you know, it's like a sweet kind of memory for her to do that for her mom,
right?
Was very cool.
It was very sweet, and I also liked how she had the dress that so she recreated a dress that she had in a photo when she was younger. Was it prom?
Dance or something? Yes.
Yeah, and then she had on a dress, like the last dress that he made her before he passed away, which also very, very emotional. It was beautiful.
Also, to touch on the Uncle Johnny thing and the family thing, I like the fact that she's not the only family that works on set. Yvette, her publisher, also has her daughters on set, and they talked about like the importance of legacy. Yeah, they had talked about like they talked about the importance of being mothers, the importance of legacy, and passing stuff down to your kids, and how being the parent comes first. Even though we don't see that part of Beyonce's life, her being a parent, we only see like her professional persona. And she talks about how she has 3 personas, but I found it very interesting that we see her work so hard publicly, but then she talks about she works even harder being a parent, and those are the moments when we don't see her, and it's like, when do you have the time to do more than what we see you do? She still finds the time to take her kids to school and do back to school shopping in between flying from state to state or country to country to do these shows, and having to, I'm sure, oversee everything. So it's not just like she flies. It's not like they set up the stage and all she has to do is show up and do her thing. She has to oversee like the logistics of all this stuff and still show up and still perform and still she has to come up with the ideas for the show. It was her idea to come up with the girl group, the Pure Honey.
Oh, Pure Honey.
Yeah. And the fact that she orchestrated that. And the fact that there was something else that she came up with.
The lighting. She talked about lighting a bit.
I think it was the intro to one of the songs.
Oh, when they were recording her, and she was like, I'm glad you're recording because I'm not going to remember.
And it's just the fact that you have to be on stage, but also you have to be behind the stage before the show. Like, you don't just show up 2 hours before it's time to go on stage, put on your outfit, get a haircut. You're here all day. You're here all day at every stop, and some of those stops are back to back. And she was talking about how she went 44 days with no off day, and I'm like, are you joking? I go to work and sometimes I don't do anything, and I still need to be tired.
Like, get me out of here.
I still need to take days off. And the fact that she does all that for 44 days straight and doesn't take an off day, and she's like, she has to sleep when she walks, like she said, I'm walking and I'm sleeping. Yeah, and I thought that was crazy. So
yeah, again, for like the road, your faves could never.
Yeah,
because my fave does all the things.
She's a beautiful beast.
Yeah,
she's just a beautiful.
She is a beautiful beast. I called her a machine, but then she told me I'm not a machine.
She did say
I am a human, and so I'm sorry, Queen Mother. You're not a machine. You're a human.
Do you have a favorite line?
Well, that's the one where she got me together.
Okay.
Because that's what I told her, and she said, "No, I'm not."
Mine would have to be where she said, "I don't have nothing to prove no more," and she don't give a f. She said, she literally said the word, like, I don't. Y'all say whatever y'all want. I don't have nothing to prove. I do what I want, and I don't care. I'm at a point where I've given my all. I know. The 3 personas, like she said, the one where she gets on stage and she ain't responsible for her.
Yeah, that was funny.
Because that persona can do whatever. Like, she knows. She's humble, she's grateful, but she knows, like, she that girl. Basically.
Yeah, y'all not touching me.
Yeah. Jay, final
I did it
favorite line.
I don't know the line verbatim, but I will say at the end of the movie when she talked about how, and it was this tour, she realized that she doesn't have to be meticulous to exhaustion anymore to still put on the best show. And I thought that was very interesting how all of her other tours, she's meticulous. She says she's meticulous. and I'm sure she's proves that. But I could not tell the difference between this show and her past shows where she says she doesn't have to try as hard and exhaust herself, but she still puts on the same quality of performance. And I think that also spoke to the fact that she said also towards the end when she was like, at 30, I thought I was at my apex or something like that. And then she realized like when I did the Renaissance tour, I'm 42 years old. And she's like, and I'm still getting better. And she's like, oh no, I'm still like, I'm still a hit maker. I'm still like in my hit maker phase. I'm still in my growth phase. And I thought that was cool to say. Like, you're 42 years old. You've been doing this since 99, 97?
27 years, she said.
Yeah, she said Destiny's Child. She said when she thanked the crowd, she said people rocking with me since 97. So she's been in the industry since 97. And she's like, oh, I'm not exhausting myself putting this stuff together anymore. It's like, okay, but the quality hasn't decreased. So how can you still be able to do this and nobody can tell the difference? Right. So I thought that was cool.
We got Zanna gonna take us out with her favorite moment. Hit it.
It wasn't really my favorite, but I wanted to definitely add to that. I could definitely see, and this is from, I believe, Beachella, where she was doing all the behind the scenes.
Yep.
And really working herself to death, like not eating and like all these things to try to get in shape. Like, you do not see that in the behind the scenes here. She definitely made it a point to highlight the dancers. And I think that is giving other people their light and their shine and using her influence to do that. Instead of being, I mean, she's already the star of the show. It's her show. Right. So I definitely saw that, hey, I don't have to be the one that's going hard all the time the whole time. And so I loved that she uses her platform to highlight so many different people from different backgrounds and different cultures, and just highlight the family aspect that she that she promotes. It's just there, the family aspect of that, and really getting to know the people she's hired as dancers and who she trusts with her kid to feed into them. So
and back on what you said about the not eating thing, if you watched the I Am Sasha Fierce documentary, concert documentary, there's a scene in it where she's eating a bag of Lay's and she's like, this is my cheat meal. And they were talking with her behind the scenes, like, I think it was Tina that was like telling her, you're not supposed to be eating chips. And in the documentary, when she talks about how she doesn't have to prove anything to anybody anymore, and we see her like actually stuffing her face, and I thought that was
with Houston chicken,
fish. I was watching, I was like, what a full circle moment to see Beyonce in the I Am Sasha Fierce era starving herself because she felt like she still had to build herself up to be the greatest, even though she was there at the I Am Sasha Fierce era. And then now she's fully like eating chicken and french fries and eating turkey sandwiches and fully being recorded eating food. Like,
but still taking her ginger shots. Oh, we haven't seen Beyonce eat.
Like, that's the only time I've ever seen her eat is when she was eating.
Just hungry.
When she was eating that bag of chips.
The ritual sandwich and the ginger shot. Yes.
When she was eating that bag of chips in the I Am Sasha Fierce documentary, I was like, that's the only time I think I've ever seen Beyonce consume food.
Yeah.
So it was funny that she was like, now I don't have anything to prove. I don't have to go as hard anymore because I'm still like the legend. So she's like, I can officially like eat a 5-piece and fries and not feel self-conscious about it because I'm 42 years old and what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? And she said, I'm free like this time. And so like, I would say for me that last part, like I'm in this tour, I'm doing all this. I'm doing what I want. I know I'm the best that ever was, but I'm free. You can tell that she's actually free throughout this, which also like another full circle moment. They started off Renaissance saying what it means, right? Like it's a rebirth. It's like you're supposed to be free in this era, in this moment, but all of us are supposed to be free. And you can take that however you want to take it, right? Black people being free, like, you know, community being free, like whatever it is. I just love that she gifted this to us, right? Like, I think it is for us to do our part. We should just like, let's live in a Renaissance moment. Like, let's live in this era.
Album was for that. When she did the little note before the album came out, when she was thanking people for not listening to it early, she was like, this was about being free and dancing and enjoying life and all this. So it was perfect. It was
very good.
And Beyonce, we need this on physical. Please don't do us like Formation.
I mean, I will also take streaming. I'm not as bad as sure.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but
I do want to watch it and like pause it on the scene of our cameo in the film. You guys don't forget we were in the film.
Yes. So I found the original tweet has been deleted, but I screenshot it. Thank God. I screenshot it. It's in a Google chat. That I took a screenshot and I circled us and put arrows where we were.
You did circle us.
I did.
Yes.
So
we're there.
Just so you know, in case you forgot, we were in the movie.
Yes. Famous.
Let's do our last bit here where we say, is it worth the theater? Is it just the movie and wait for streaming? Or save your time? Don't bother. I don't even know why. I mean, let's out of tradition. What would you say?
What are we doing?
What would you say for this movie? For the listeners.
What's the 3?
Worth the theaters 1.
Yes.
Just the movie, wait for streaming is 2. Or save your time, don't bother is 3.
I mean, it's obviously giving 1.
Okay.
It's worth every single moment. Go. Please watch it in the theater. Get your life. Laugh. We cried. I mean, at least me and Zanna did. I don't know.
I got watery eyes, but I did not cry.
Beautiful. I mean, I'm a gangster. I didn't cry either. I did get watery. But yes, go watch it. Number 1. All the day.
Go see it twice. I
multiple times.
It's 2 hours and 48 minutes, but I feel like
very long.
I need to see it one more time before, because we don't know what's gonna happen after, and we gonna be like, man, I wish I would have saw that again before she yanked it out of the theater.
This is true. We should go again.
We should.
Okay,
absolutely. We're doing it again.
I would say it's worth the theater. I would say if you can. This is one negative, not about the movie, but just about the experience. I don't think the bass was hitting like it should have been. So if you can go, find a Dolby to see it, if you can, because I think that's a much better, because it's music, so you need that bass. Yeah. And there's a lot of bass in the concert and in the production. So I wish the volume was a little louder in the theater, and you could feel the bass a little bit more. So definitely go sit in the theater and do it in a Dolby.
This is why you're the professional, because you brought that around. That is very true. It was not hitting like it was supposed to hit. Okay.
All right. So that wraps up our Renaissance, a film by Beyonce review. Yay. Stay tuned, because we have a whole nother review for the movie The Killer by David Fincher, which is the total opposite of Renaissance. So stay tuned for our thoughts on that. Anybody else want to say anything before we close this part out?
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for our co-hosts, and our guests.
So fun.
We are our guests, first time ever on Vaguely Nerdy Podcast. So this week we watched The Killer. I keep saying y'all know what I'm trying to say. We watched The Killer. It is a Netflix movie that was released November 10th, 2023. Although I just think it went to Netflix a couple weeks ago. So it did like a limited theater release. And then it went straight to Netflix. It is directed by David Fincher. We talked about him before, but if you don't recognize the name, he directed Seven, Gone Girl, and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, amongst other famous movies. It's starring Michael Fassbender and Tilda Swinton, although it's Michael Fassbender. Like that, he's the main person in this movie. I don't even know.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton is just, she's in the movie. She's just the second most famous person in the movie.
There it is. That's a good description. Runtime is 1 hour and 58 minutes. I didn't find anything about the budget. Box office is around $400,000. I will say it wasn't well advertised. You know how Netflix had Glass Onion come out and and it got a limited theater release, and I can't remember how much Glass Onion made, but I'm pretty sure it was more than $421,000.
I think most of The Killer's advertising took place during the strikes.
Oh.
And the only thing they did with it was take it around the film festival market.
I was going to say, was this in the film festival
There
thing?
was no, and it was received okay at the film festivals, but there was no, even David Fincher didn't even do a single interview. Like Martin Scorsese and Ridley Scott
have been trying to do their advertising.
David Fincher, I haven't seen him say a single thing about this film.
Yeah, very interesting. So box office wasn't great, but I don't think they expected it to be, because it didn't have a long theater run.
Mm-hmm.
Cinema score, there isn't one. Rotten Tomato score, however, is kind of interesting. So the critic score is 86%, is certified fresh. The audience score is a whopping 59%.
Yeah, that's low.
It's actually got the icon with the popcorn bucket spilled over.
Yeah, like somebody threw it on the ground on their way out.
Like somebody kicked it. So we'll get into it, and why. I guess we can say why we think that. We'll wait till spoilers to get to why we think that. But let's go over the plot without trying to give too much away of the movie.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay,
so the plot of the movie is Michael Fassbender plays an assassin. And we are following him on his most recent job.
Yes.
And the fallout of it.
That's very good.
That's pretty much the plot. The movie is not complex at all.
It is a straightforward, beat for beat, not too. There's no like, trying to think of it's not like a Nolan movie where you got to really pay attention to the finer details or you miss like a whole concept. No.
Yeah, I watched it a day before Cheryl, and she asked me about it, and I was like, it's very straightforward. You can kind of almost watch it while you're doing something else and get the whole gist of the movie.
Yeah,
and not miss too much.
You would miss maybe some of the tension that kind of builds up on screen.
Yeah, because most of the movie, Michael Fassbender is alone. Like, there's no co-star.
No,
so you're only with Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender in
his narration. And he's not. He doesn't have a co-star. He's only by himself. He doesn't really talk to anybody. So there's outside of the narration, there's not a lot of times where he speaks himself in the movie.
This movie is not outside of when he does interact with the character. It's not very dialogue heavy. The most dialogue is his inner monologue, basically.
And I think because of that, they do a very good job of show don't tell.
That was one of my notes.
There's no exposition in this film because he doesn't talk to anybody to exposit to. So
there's zero. I guess you need to pay attention in terms of knowing the why in the movie.
Yeah, they do a good job at showing you all of these pieces, and you know that the puzzle's coming, but you have to pay attention because you want to know what he's going to do with all these pieces. Yes. You can kind of guess.
My note says little dialogue, but you can tell something is happening. Not sure what until right when it happens.
Right.
That was like my biggest takeaway of this whole movie. So I will say I like the pacing. I like that it was little dialogue, but you know something's happening, and you're kind of trying to look with, I don't even know what the character's Michael Fassbender's character's name was.
I don't either because he has so many aliases in this movie.
Okay, so every time he goes one place, he has an alias, and then every time he leaves a place, he has a different one.
Now that I think of it, a lot of them don't have names. Michael Fassbender is the killer. Tilda Swinton is the expert. Charles Parnell is the lawyer. Arliss Howard at the end is the client. Dolores, she has a name.
Dolores had a name.
Who was the secretary?
Dolores
but
had
none
a name.
of them have last names. There are a lot of every character. If you go down the cast list, there's some people who have one name, and then there's a lot of people.
They're just the person.
Yeah.
So, but I
guess they kind of explain that in the movie why.
And they don't really need names, to be quite honest.
They don't. Because the characters are very simple. And none of them are bad. A lot of them aren't given enough.
Okay, that's fair.
But Tilda Swinton's character, for example, was very, without spoiling, her character was very simple. But it was still, I liked her character.
Yeah, her parts in the movie were enjoyable. I like those. Actually, I guess we can get to our next part that we talk about, like actors we liked or didn't like or wanted to see more of.
Okay.
Everybody was, for the time that they were on the screen, even though they had no name, no background, no type of relation, I think, to the character, except one particular person. Michael Fassbender's character does have a significant other. That's the only type of familial.
And we're not really sure whether they're married or whether
I think it's just his
girlfriend.
Yeah,
but he has a love interest.
There we go. He has a love interest. But outside of that, there's no type of connections or family or anything like that. But everybody's does their role good. Like there was no standout actor really, but everybody does good.
Everybody's roles were so small. It's kind of like I can't say who there was nobody that wasn't a good actor because the roles were so small.
Yes. So there's no bad acting, but there's also maybe not enough.
And there's no bad characters because you don't get enough of the other characters outside of Michael Fassbender.
Yes.
Collectively, they get like 5 minutes each.
Ooh, you being generous. You being generous.
Outside of Michael Fassbender, everybody who isn't Michael Fassbender, it is this movie for like 5 minutes.
I was gonna say 2. I'm rounding up.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody's acting was pretty good. To talk about the main character, Michael Fassbender is the killer. He's good in this. Probably not my favorite Michael Fassbender role. Mm-hmm. Probably not my favorite David Fincher movie.
No, David Fincher's done a lot better. And
not even like top 5.
You know what? I would say this is a very digestible David Fincher movie.
Yes.
If you look at all of David Fincher's other films, The Fight Club was much more deep than this. 7, Gone Girl, Dragon Tattoo, Zodiac, like all of these things.
It is very straight to
the point.
And
when we discussed this earlier, we talked about it a little bit. I was like, I really expected like a third act or second act like twist.
Yeah.
Because that's what you would expect in like 7 or Gone Girl.
I was waiting for Zodiac. I was waiting for the twist.
I was waiting for the rug to be pulled from under
literally me. To the screen, the credits started rolling. I was like, okay, it's coming. It's coming. What is it? Is it now? Oh.
And it doesn't happen.
Oh,
the rug stays firmly on the ground and
listen,
in its place
it's
the
got
entire
a rug.
film.
It's got a rug catcher underneath it so it don't slip because there's no straight to the point.
And I see why audiences did not like the film, but critics did. I think I'm on the critic side of this one.
Really?
But I do understand why a regular moviegoer would be like, I didn't like this very much.
I wouldn't have. So 59 on Rotten Tomatoes mean most people just thought it was ugh.
That's bad.
I was going to say there's meh and then there's ugh.
Because there are bad movies that people can agree that they still enjoy watching.
I don't think it deserves the tipped over popcorn icon.
It doesn't deserve the tipped over popcorn icon. I can argue for why this is a good movie. Mm-hmm. I cannot argue for why somebody would not like this movie.
You know what? I agree with that because it's well made in terms of pacing. Mm-hmm. Even like if you don't like movies that are a little slower paced, like if you think don't go into this thinking this is John Wick.
Because the trailer will make you think it is.
It is the opposite of John Wick in terms of pacing.
Absolutely.
And action. And
think it's slower than John Wick 1. And John Wick 1 is the slowest of all the John Wicks. The rest of them kind of turn into Fast and Furious movies.
It's kind of like 7. Like 7 had moments of dialogue, plot, and the story's progressing, and then bam, you get into the scene and you like, what the heck is going on here? It was basically like that.
Yeah.
Or like Gone Girl. Gone Girl didn't have a lot of action, but it definitely had like lead up story building. And
there was enough weird stuff that they weren't really answering that kept you watching because you wanted to figure out what was going on. If you
like the pacing of Gone Girl or 7, you would be fine with this, I think. In my opinion. It's very similar to Gone Girl's pacing.
I would say it has the same pacing as Gone Girl.
Not the twist though.
Not the same payoff.
No. 100% correct on that. Not the same. Not even the same payoff as 7. Nothing topping 7. I'm sorry.
It's good. 7 and Fight Club are some of David Fincher's best films of all time.
Add Gone Girl to that list too, because that movie was wild.
Characters we liked. We liked Michael Fassbender's character.
We liked him. I liked him.
I liked Tilda Swinton's character.
I
liked Charles Parnell's character, who played his characters.
Is he the lawyer?
He was like the handler.
Was he the lawyer guy?
He's listed as the lawyer.
Okay.
But it sounded like he was like Michael Fassbender's handler.
It seemed
like his
like
M a little bit.
Yeah, I liked him. I liked Dolores.
I did like Dolores. Charles Parnell is from Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning.
Who the heck did he play in Mission Impossible?
He had like 2 lines, but he was in the scene in Dead Reckoning when Ethan, in disguise, bombs the meeting of the world leaders.
Oh.
And he was in the room.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't remember him in there.
When he threw the smoke bombs in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Interesting.
He looked the exact same.
Okay.
I like Dolores. She was good.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't any characters I didn't like.
Like you said, no, I don't think anyone was nobody
was there long enough.
I will say, for the pacing to be slower, the movie does
strange.
It does progress though.
It's so slow, but it moves. It's such a weird way to describe a film.
That's what I'm saying. The pace is not John Wick or whatever, but it moves.
Like he's never in the same place long.
I think it's because once you get that scene of like tension, you like, oh snap, what's about to happen now? So you kind of waiting and it's building up. I think because even though it's a slower paced movie, there's build up. Every scene is a build up.
Yeah.
There's no scene wasted.
And I think because we follow Michael Fassbender the whole film
so closely,
there's no plot holes. Because it's like, okay, well, how did he do this? How did he do this? It's like, no, we're walking with Michael Fassbender to the supermarket to get the equipment. Yeah. To do what he's about to do. Right. So it's like, okay, well, how did he do this? Because we literally saw him go do that. Right. There's no plot holes. There's no like, well, how did he get there? How did he pull this off?
That's why I said every scene there was no filler. There's no filler.
Even when he takes naps, we're with him. It's strange.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the writing, the directing, the acting, all that kind of coming together to make it's a smooth movie. Yeah. I don't know if I ever said that about a movie, but it's real smooth. It just kind of glides at a glacial pace.
It's kind of on rails where you kind of just sit and you enjoy the ride and it's just going to take you. So.
And you're just like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Is there anything we want to say before spoilers?
Let me check my note and see if I had any none.
I love the music. There was no background music in the film. Any music you heard was music that was being played in the background.
Yeah, the killer listens to music in certain scenes, and you kind of hear what he's listening to. And they switch the sound of it based on whether in his head, I guess, or outside of his head.
So only music we hear is if he's listening to music or like car radio music or like when he's walking through the airport or the hotel. And they're all like tracks that you know.
They're right.
They were all like recognizable tracks. I like that.
Music budget.
Liked his Chandler Bing outfits because they were very different for an assassin. Yeah. Like he wore high-rise khakis and
he was very
Florida shirts.
it definitely played until he was like, he's trying to blend in. So he definitely like just a regular dude on the street.
In a bucket hat.
In a bucket hat and some sunglasses. Like a dad.
I enjoyed the narration and I usually don't like too much narration in a movie.
This is a lot of narration.
But I think it only works because he has literally nobody else to talk to but the audience.
And we have nobody else to
listen
with.
to. Right. So I think that's why the narration works, because otherwise you barely hear any dialogue in this movie. Right. Even when he's in scenes and people are talking to him, he's still not talking. Which is funny.
He's literally sitting there and looking at the person like, yeah. Sure. All right. Anything else we want to talk about before we jump into the spoiler section?
No.
All right. So if you don't want to be spoiled by this podcast, stop now or forever hold your peace. No, I'm kidding. Okay. We will be spoiling in 3, 2, 1. I thought Dolores. So spoiler: nobody that he goes to find in this movie makes it.
Yeah, he kills pretty much everybody. Everybody dies except for Michael Fassbender.
The reason why we're like, nobody had a lot of screen time because he kills them.
He kills everybody in this movie.
I thought the one character, Dolores, who is the assistant to the lawyer character, I was like, oh, he gonna crack. He gonna find some way to make. Oh, you know what? That's a lie. He doesn't kill everybody. I'll get back to that in a second. But Dolores doesn't make it. He cracks her neck.
You're right. He didn't kill everybody.
At the last, as she's walking down the stairs, I was like, oh, he's going to probably shoot her or something. No, he breaks her neck. She falls down the stairs.
Yeah. So my first note was that I didn't expect this to be a revenge thriller. Because the trailers kind of make it seem like it's going to be
job after job after job.
David Fincher's attempt at a John Wick movie. It looked like it was going to be multiple different hits.
I think it's because so many movies are trying to copy John Wick. We just automatically thought that
because the movie trailer, the way the trailer's cut, it's mostly just the action sequences, and it looks like because we see him fighting different people, we think that it's just multiple jobs. But everything in this movie is based on one job that he messed up in the very beginning.
So the whole premise of the entire almost 2 hour movie is he's set on a job. In the first 15 minutes of the movie, we are literally trying to figure out who is he trying to kill because the person's not on screen. He messes up. He kills, I don't know if it's the girlfriend, wife, whoever. The lady of the man's life that he's trying to kill. He shoots her instead of killing the man.
Yeah.
And the rest of the movie is basically him trying to not be killed by the people that he worked for, essentially. So when you say revenge, but to me it's more like he was just trying to make sure they didn't come. The organization that he works for is basically like, oh, we need to get rid of the loose end. Because he missed, and now like he is the person out here who knows that a client tried to kill somebody.
I think the reason I thought it was a revenge thriller was because after he messes up the job, the organization that's unnamed, we never know, that he works for, sends two people to go look for him, but they end up getting his girlfriend. Right. And they don't kill her, but they do rough her up and put her in ICU. Yep. And I thought it was a revenge thriller because after that, he then goes to kill everybody. So it didn't seem like he was planning on doing that prior.
I was going to say, we don't know if he was just going to go to his little, home and just chill out and hide there. But I feel like he had to have known because the lawyer guy was like, I didn't think you would go home. So they knew where he lived. So maybe he was just going to go there and get her so they could peace out.
Or maybe he thought that he would just abandon his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. Fair.
While he went on the run.
But then why go?
Because he seems like a person who wouldn't have like ties like that. Because of his motto of not being empathetic and not forming connections. You wouldn't expect this person to have a girlfriend. So maybe they just assumed that he would just go on the run and leave her. They'd kill her and it would be of no consequence.
Fair. That's fair.
Maybe.
But the rest of the movie is basically, so they put the girlfriend in the ICU and he basically goes to try to find the people who did it to his girlfriend. And he's basically trying to work his way up the chain. So basically, so he can be free. Because we don't know if he's done with the life. I'm going to assume that he is. But he gets all the way up to the client who hired the organization to kill whoever. And we never find out who the intended target was. Nope. I don't think.
Yeah, we never find out who the guy he was trying to kill in the beginning is.
Yeah,
he's obviously very wealthy. Yeah. And I think he's some type of diplomat.
He might be a competitor to who the client ends up being. They don't go into that detail.
Foreign, because it takes place out of the country.
Right. Maybe France, I think. It's actually, and to be honest, it's actually not important to the plot.
It's never brought up again. Other than the fact that he messed up killing somebody. Right. Who the target was never comes
I was going to say, the most important part was that he jacked up and killed the wrong person. And the client was hired. The client wanted him to kill a particular person. He did not, so he needed to fix all of that.
And we both had similar reactions to that because the movie kicks off, it's very slow.
15 minutes of,
it's just narration.
It's him talking.
15 minutes of Michael Fassbender just talking about what he does, his daily routine, his motto, how he does to keep his life as simple as possible so that he can continue being a killer.
Right.
And he's just doing things like talking about his diet, talking about his exercise, talking about
his heart rate
and waiting people out and being patient. And it's like being in a lecture series from an assassin.
It's almost like we're reading his journal.
Yeah. And after all of that buildup, we're like, okay, this is a cold open. We're gonna see him expertly assassinate this dude, and then we're gonna get the title card, and then we're gonna roll into the plot, kind of like how Mission Impossible and James Bond start.
Yeah,
but then he misses the shot, botches it. And then I'm like, oh.
If she was the intended target, he's spot on.
After all this buildup, you are awful at this.
And so that was, I guess, maybe, now that I'm thinking about it and saying it out loud, maybe that's the plot twist.
Is that he's a bad
hitman? No, I don't think he's bad. It seems like he's really good at his job. He just had a bad day.
He just had one bad day.
It feel like maybe that's the twist, is that we thinking we're about to get into a movie of a professional 100% success rate killer, and we see the 1%, we see the one time that he messes up. So maybe that's the quote unquote plot twist. We just get it literally 15 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. I had another note. So after he decides to like go kill the people who went after his girlfriend and tried to kill him, we basically just go from place to place while he kills people to clean the slate. And the first kill is he goes to the lawyer, right? Who's Charles Parnell. And he kills him by shooting him in the chest with 3 nail guns. And the plan was this was supposed to drown him in his chest. He was supposed to slowly drown through his through blood in his lungs. And he's narrating while the guy's drowning.
Yes.
And he's like, okay, the guy weighs 148 pounds and he's a non-smoker, so it should take him 7 minutes to drown. And the plan was he was going to be drowning for at least 7 minutes, but that would give Michael Fassbender at least 7 minutes of time to convince him to give up the names of the people he's looking for. But the guy dies in like 60 seconds.
If that.
And Michael Fassbender
maybe
was like,
30 seconds flat.
And then Michael Fassbender's like, this is twice in a row
where
I have messed up killing somebody.
It seemed like he getting a little rusty.
Because the guy died too fast without giving him any info.
And
luckily,
Dolores.
Unfortunately, the Secretary Dolores was still alive. And
knows everything.
She knows everything because she's a secretary. So she's like, I'll tell you.
Not that she was going to make it anyway.
I did think that
if the lawyer would have given the information, Dolores would have lived.
I did think that he was going to let her live, even though I thought it would be a bad idea.
Okay.
Because there's a scene where it seems like he's going to let her live. Mm-hmm. They go to the lawyer's house to get the Rolodex to find the names of the assassins that were hired.
Right.
And while he's breaking into the house, Dolores is trying to escape out of the van. Mm-hmm. And I was like, see, this is why you can't let her live. Because she's already trying to make a run for it.
She was definitely trying to leave.
She's screaming at the top of her lungs. So, and I get it, but I did think it was very clever when he snaps her neck right before she falls down the stairs to make it seem like an accident.
And I hate to say this way, doing her a favor. He didn't do her a favor because she knows that like she's not gonna make it out of this. So she says, please make it look in a certain way because my kids will get my life insurance.
Yeah. She said, I can't just disappear.
He doesn't say anything because once he says the barest of minimums. Mm-hmm. So anytime somebody asks him a question or trying to have some type of intellectual conversation, he just looks like, yeah, I hear you.
Right.
You're still dying.
Yeah.
But thank you for that. Whatever.
So I'm glad that, like she said, he didn't just disappear.
He respected her wishes.
Dissolve her in a vat of acid like he did Charles Parnell's body, I assume.
I think Charles,
because we don't see him.
I think pieces of him are all over the United States.
That was another note.
Or the country.
Another note was thanks for not showing us you chopping up that body because I didn't need to see that at all.
He definitely puts Charles in multiple pieces.
He narrates that I'm going to scatter him.
Mm-hmm. And we see like a bucket get pushed over like an edge, and we see him put something else, but we don't. He puts down
tarp on the ground.
We don't actually say it. It's not super. There's blood and there's fighting and there's he's
not any more blood you would see in another action movie though. Like there's no gore. It's like gunshot wound blood. There it is. And that's it.
It's more like John Wick gore. Less.
I'll give it John Wick gore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not as much because it's not as action-y as John Wick. But it's not gross gore. I guess I was waiting for him to not make it out of a situation. Because I was like, I wonder if he's going to live at the end of the whole movie. Not the whole movie, but about halfway through, I'm like, I wonder if he's going to actually live. And because of that, I was waiting for him to lose.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't have any other assassins on call to be like, hey, he's out of line. We need a cleanup crew.
I feel like he was working too fast.
He was moving from place to place way too fast, changing identities super fast.
He would go into a place and be Joe and leave a place and be Craig. Would be like and it was very well organized. All his guns were organized. His fake passports were labeled in Ziploc bags.
He's meticulous.
He cleaned up real well.
Which is strange because he messed up twice. To be so meticulous and so focused.
He did. Although his second to last kill or third to last kill before we get to Tilda Swinton is the muscle of the operation that went to go try to get his girlfriend. And the guy catches him. Catches him off guard. Before that,
and when I say that they build up the anticipation by showing you but not telling you what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So he cases the guy first.
He does a lot of casing.
He sits outside his house to see what the guy's house looks like, who he hangs around. He sees that he has a dog. Mm-hmm. It's obviously a trained attack dog.
Yes.
So then he goes to a supermarket and buys every type of sleep drug you can find and a pound of raw hamburger meat.
Yes.
Because we know that they're showing us he's going to drug this dog to put it to sleep. So he doesn't want to kill the dog.
No.
He's going to drug the dog to put it to sleep so he can go kill the
friendly.
owner. So I like that. I like that buildup of the show don't tell.
Yeah. And that's why you don't need a lot of talking because they very clearly step you through Like I said, it moves. It's progressing. Every scene is showing you something.
Every
that
time
leads
he
to
hops on
something
a
else.
plane, he pulls out a different identity. Every time he rents a car, he's going to a regular dealership like a regular person.
It shows how good he is.
When you have fake credentials, you don't have to act sneaky. You can just walk into a place with your ID and do whatever you want to do.
He never gets caught by any of the, like, none of the gate agents are ever like, oh, this looks weird. No, they just like, hello, goodbye, have a nice trip. You got a lot of miles.
He doesn't do anything weird or act sneaky. He just looks like a regular person.
Yeah, so he gets to the guy with the guard dog, and that guy actually puts up a fight because he catches him.
He's called the Brute.
Okay, there it is. The Brute guy actually gives him a bit of a fight, and he gets his butt kicked.
He could have died there.
I kind of knew he wasn't because we hadn't gotten to Tilda Swinton yet, and we knew she was in the trailer. So I knew he was going to make it out of it. But he gets butt kicked pretty good. So you do get to see that he's not necessarily a fighter. Yeah. And he's strictly an assassin. He ain't no James Bond.
And Tilda Swinton says that later on in the film. She's like, you're used to just pulling the trigger. Yeah. And that's all. He snipes and keeps it clean and
keeps
walks
it moving.
Out.
Which is exactly how Tilda Swinton... How she gets it. What's her name?
Tilda Swinton is the expert.
And
she is basically another Michael Fassbender. She's just a woman. And she does the same type of work. And when he finally goes to kill her, and they have a sit down at the restaurant, and she's basically telling him, like, you know how this goes. We get a name. Yeah. Sometimes the name is a big person. Sometimes the name is just a regular person who's in the way to get to the big person.
But she says it's never personal.
It's never personal.
And he don't care. He's still like, okay, thanks. Because he don't say anything.
So the Brute is played by Sala Baker, who is best known for portraying Sauron in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Wow. Yeah, crazy, right? This is why when people... When people complain about, accuracy and actors not wanting to, this is why actors don't want to be in roles forever where they don't show their face, because you would never know that he played Sauron in the greatest trilogy of all time. I mean, he's in The Killer, because you never get to see his face.
That's crazy,
isn't it?
Oh wow! I mean, he got a nice.
He is the big bad of the Lord of the Rings universe.
So I'm looking at his filmography. He has a lot of uncredited roles. Yeah. So many. I mean, I will say, him in the fight between the Brute and the Killer was real good, because the Killer was getting his butt kicked and the Brute was throwing him all over that house.
It was great camera work. Very brutal. Yes. But not too bloody. And I think that's because most of it took place in the dark. It wasn't until they got into like the lit areas that you were like, oh, you guys are beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah, like there's a stake in his leg. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Tilda Swinton is really good. She had a really small role. She's
small.
Literally just there to be killed.
Correct.
The scene maybe lasts 5 minutes.
I wonder if David was just kind of like, hey, I got like a role, you might be interested if you got some free time. She was like, I like it.
Yeah,
sure.
It was about 5 minutes worth of acting. And she did really good. It was just a sit down dinner scene where she's having her last supper before Michael Fassbender walks into the river and kills her. She
knows what's coming. But she tried to get him though.
She did. So I liked her dialogue because it was very funny for somebody that knew, like when he's walking her out to the river and she's like, oh, spending my last minutes knowing they're my last minutes, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. And she's like, which is actually you. Right. And then she says, when you die, it won't be your life that flashes before your eyes. It'll be mine, because you'll be remembering the conversation that we had.
And I didn't know if I bought into that, though.
I kind of got what she was trying to say because of the bear metaphor, which was gross. Didn't need that. But she tells this bear metaphor about this hunter that goes in the forest to kill this bear, and he's constantly unsuccessful. And the bear always gets him back for missing. And then at the end, she's telling him, like, all of this is because you missed. And I think she was trying to hint at the fact that the bear is eventually going to come back for you.
Oh, okay.
So when it does, you're going to think about me because I told you that the bear is coming back for you because you missed.
I
don't think he killed enough people high up.
I don't know. It seemed like he's really good at getting away though.
Yeah, it does. But like Tilda Swinton said,
it's probably an open-ended, like, will they still come for him, or did he did he finally do enough damage to where they just gonna leave him alone?
I got the impression that Tilda Swinton was also really good at getting away.
Yeah.
Just like he was. She gave me the impression that she was just as skilled as he was, but she messed up and slipped once. And Michael Fassbender came to get her.
Yeah.
The bear. Yeah. And eventually the bear is going to come back to get Michael Fassbender.
Okay.
That's what I took it as.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay, I really like
fair.
this.
That's fair. But I did like where she tried to fake, like she fell, or I don't know if she slipped for real or what, but she slips and she tries to turn back to the killer and say, oh, can you help me up? And he was like, psych.
He acts like he's going to.
And pops her in the forehead, and come to find out she had a knife. So she was going to try to stab him and get away. So she wanted to live.
And I think that also underlined the fact that they're very similar.
Yeah.
Because just like, I think she stuck to the same code of, stick to the plan.
Yeah.
And
don't deviate.
Her plan was to
live.
She
was like, listen, I'm an assassin and I know what you're here for, but that don't mean I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet.
And I like the fact that when Michael Fassbender showed up at the restaurant and had the gun, she immediately knew.
Oh yeah.
Like the way it took her like 10 seconds to come to the realization is like, you're dying.
She was she was about to have a nice meal. Mm-hmm. Her coat was cute. Like she was dressed.
She knew the chef. They had her bottle ready for her arrival.
They was ready to have her
Sent
a lovely
out the
meal.
Chef's best choices. Mm-hmm. And when he came to crash her dinner, the expression, just like the joy drowning out of her face and just being like, oh,
Tilda Swinton is
the
already
bear has come back to get me.
Already quite pale.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine her being just a touch more pale. Her character was like, oh, this is it. Because she even says something like, it's interesting how like, this time is coming, but when it finally comes, you can't believe it's here.
Yeah.
And she was like, so she was like, actually, you know what? I don't think I'm ready. Let me see if I can get out of this.
I wish I had more. She was like, I wish I had eaten more Haagen-Dazs after dinner every day. Yeah. But the only other notes I had left were just miscellaneous notes. Mm-hmm. One was never buy a smart lock. There's a scene in the movie.
Is that real though?
I don't know, because it freaked me out enough. I'm not going to look because I don't want to know the answer to that question. But basically, as he's going around navigating his hits, he's he's narrating how he's going to do these things. Right. And he tries to break into a guy's apartment, but they have a key fob door.
This is the final guy.
In the garage that you have to get past to get into the building. Mm-hmm. So Michael Fassbender's like, cool, takes a picture of it, searches it looks up key fob replicator on Amazon and gets all of these results for these prime products that you can get in 2 days.
They didn't even do a fake Amazon. It's literally Amazon.
And all you do is you buy it, you hold it up next to somebody's key card, it replicates it, and you can print it on a different key card. And I thought that was freaky. So never buy a smart lock because somebody's going to kill you.
Yeah, they might be able to get in.
I mean, I guess they could pick the regular lock, but you could maybe be able to see that coming.
Just get a dog that's not outside so they can bark.
And never order Uber Eats, because if an assassin is trying to kill you, they're just going to wait till the Uber Eats man comes and they're going to sneak into your house.
He used both of those methods.
He used both of those methods.
He used Postmates specifically.
I specifically don't order delivery because I'm frugal and I'd rather
like them
just
fees.
9 times out of 10 if I'm ordering food, it's
drive.
close anyway. So,
I'm going to drive.
So I never order delivery, but this also convinced me never to order delivery because somebody might wait for the delivery man to come and kill you.
Stick their foot in the door like he did, like, opening.
And my last note was that I'm in the after both of those notes. My last note was that I'm in the wrong line of work because being an assassin seems way easier than I thought, because all you have to do is find out who you're going to kill, and then you can Google your way through the whole process. So you can just look up what you need on Amazon.
To clean up. No, don't do that, guys.
No, don't do that.
So the ending of the movie is he gets to the client who hired him or hired his organization, who hired Michael Fassbender to kill whoever the target was, and basically tells him, like, just so you know, I can find you at any moment, and then if it ever turns into a problem for me, I'm coming to kill you. And he lets him live. Yeah. And I think because the client was such a big deal, like the client has he's obviously super wealthy. He has like a driver. The guy's into something big. He obviously had the money to pay for an assassin. So I think he doesn't kill him because it would be way too obvious. and way too big of a deal if he killed him. So he basically shows up and says, don't try nothing, because if you do, I'm going to be at your doorstep, or you're not going to see me coming. And Michael Fassbender goes back to his girlfriend who's alive and well. She got a little, some bandages on her arm, and then the movie ends.
So the client at the end of the movie,
yes,
is an actor.
I did not recognize him.
From one of your favorite movies of all time.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Older.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Older. When did Die Hard with a Vengeance come out?
It's old.
This came out in 1997.
The movie that you're thinking of?
Yes.
Action, comedy?
A little bit of both, but action. Action adventure.
Unless you playing with me and it's actually a movie I hate.
No, it's a movie that you love. It's a movie that you love and everybody else in the world seems to hate. But you love it.
That would have been Die Hard with a Vengeance, I feel like.
No, Die Hard with a Vengeance is universally loved. This is a movie that you love, everybody in this world hates, and both of us love.
Speed 2 Cruise
and
Control?
We can't understand why everybody in the world doesn't like
it's
this
not
movie.
Speed 2 or
No.
Speed?
This movie comes up in conversation between the two of us a lot. Maybe like 2 more guesses.
Oh, okay. I want to get it.
About why we don't understand why people don't see the greatness of this film.
Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Jurassic World.
Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
There
He plays
it is.
Peter Ludlow, who is the director of Engine, who gets eaten at the end by the baby T-Rex.
No, I did not recognize
That is the
him
same
at
actor.
all. Yeah, I do not understand the hate for that movie, and I will die on the hill of everybody.
Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
Anybody
was
who doesn't
so
like
good.
that movie got dropped on
And
the
I
head.
find it so strange that people like the third one but don't like the second one. Like, are you kidding me?
Literally, you were dropped on your head as a baby.
The third
if you
one
didn't
was
like
a parody
that second movie
of Jurassic World
I
films.
love that movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
So The Lost World,
Tangent.
Jurassic Park is number 2. There's Jurassic 1.
Yeah.
And then there's Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
They go
and
in
then the
order.
rest of the movies after that nobody cares about. But those 2 are the best
out of
Jurassic
the
Park
original
films.
trilogy, the quality is in order.
Yeah, it's a numerical order.
As far as I'm concerned.
But yeah, I thought that was a good tidbit. That
no.
he's from. I haven't seen him in anything. In
I was
so
gonna say
long.
I haven't recognized.
I looked at his
didn't
film.
recognize him.
I looked at his filmography, and none of the films since then are anything that I've seen.
Okay.
Except for this. So
okay. I mean, like, once again, he's another character who is not in this movie very long. Michael Fassbender, the killer, tells him what he need to hear, and then he leaves, and then he goes off in the sunset with his girlfriend, and then it ends.
Yeah, I guess he basically tells him, like, I mean, your girl got hit just because of the numbers. Like, we needed to make a call. We made the call. I don't even know who you are for real, and I don't know your girlfriend.
He did make a good case of, like, I was just trying to get rid of loose ends, and they didn't really. Like you said, I don't know you.
I handled the money. They told me money needed to be here.
Right.
I did what I was told to
check.
do. I signed the checks. Whatever. I mean, I'm a cog in a machine, basically.
Yeah, and that's why I think probably why the audience rating. People probably didn't like the pace. I didn't bother to read too much of the audience reviews, but I'm assuming the pace, the fact that it's probably not super actiony, and some people aren't. We are so in a John Wick-esque style of movies now. People can't handle something slower paced.
There was no big third act. There was no big act.
There was no plot twist
in the whole film.
And actually, the ending could have been a little better. That's my biggest. What is our next section, or one section we talk about, like, what would we change about the movie? I would have switched up the ending of some, like, he could have lived, but he should have had a consequence of some sort.
Yeah, I misread the opening credits and thought I saw the name Willem Dafoe, and I was like, great, we're gonna get Willem Dafoe at the end of this movie, and we didn't, and nothing happened at the end of the movie. He kind of he killed everybody all the way up to the top, got to the top, and was like, oh, well, never mind.
Yeah.
It was like, if I ever have to come back for you, I'm going to kill you. But for now, I'm just going to let you go because you don't know. I don't get what the difference was. It wasn't personal. And just like Tilda Swinton said, it wasn't personal. So why kill Tilda Swinton and not kill him? Even after Tilda Swinton said, I objected to going after your girlfriend.
Probably because she had more information than the client did, because she was she was an internal employee. The fight scene with the Brute was probably my favorite because he really got it.
Yeah.
And he kind of deserved it.
Mine would be The Dinner with Tilda Swinton, mainly because it just has the most dialogue, and that's when the most of the movie is explained, I guess.
Yeah. Who
would we recommend this movie to?
If you like Gone Girl, if you like Seven, you would probably like this. It's a good afternoon movie, I would say.
It's a 2-hour movie. Mm-hmm. Starts off very slow, but after he messes up the first hit, it doesn't feel like 2 hours.
It doesn't.
It goes because he moves from place to place. So it's a good Netflix movie. I'll say that. And like I said, it's a good movie if you've never seen it before, but you want to watch something new, but you also kind of have something to work on or something to do. You can put this on and still focus.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Final words about the movie and our rating. I agree with the critic score, but I will not contest the audience. I think the audience score should be a little bit higher.
I would agree. I would give it 3.5 out of 5.
But I am glad I didn't see it.
3.8 out of 5.
Okay. I agree with that. I am glad I didn't see it in the theater because I don't think it had enough. I think if I saw it in the theater, I would have been a lot more bored.
I don't think I would have been bored, but that ending, I would have been like, is that it? Is that it?
I want to touch back on something you said earlier before we recorded, and you said that David Fincher, Ridley Scott,
Martin Scorsese,
and Martin Scorsese are coming out with a movie all in the same year, and whenever they do that, all of the movies are bangers. And this year, it just happened to not be good.
Nope.
None of those movies were good this year. That sucks.
As we've chewed on Killers of the Flower Moon, I
still don't taste good. Sat on it a little bit longer.
I might even have a little less of an opinion of it than I did, but no, not my favorite Martin Scorsese by 2, 3, 4 long shots.
Napoleon was a well-acted nothing movie.
Yep. Drunk History.
Yeah, it was Drunk History.
Like you said. And then this one was just kind of a...
meh. This was like so meh.
The end just didn't really... Yeah, no. Yeah. No. So no bangers for these 3 this year. Maybe in 2020, 30.
Maybe next 10 years.
when they all collaborate and manage to have 3 movies coming out in the same year.
Okay, so that is our review of The Killer. I almost said Killers of the Flower Moon. What are we watching next week?
I think we're going to go with either Godzilla -1 or The Boy and the Heron.
So you have...
Both are international movies, by the way.
Listeners have until Thursday to send us their recommendations for which movie they would like to hear.
vaguelynerdypodcast at gmail.com and just submit a vote.
And if we don't get enough votes, we'll just decide ourselves.
Exactly.
We'll give you.
So it'll be a surprise.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app and leave us a review. And if you can't leave us a review on your podcast app, you can go to our website, vaguelynerdypodcast.com, and leave a review there.
Okay. And we'll see you later.
Bye.